Welcome in, everybody. This is the VESL Season 2 Grand Finals Day of the Qualifiers. The best high school esports Rocket League action in the state of North Carolina, no doubt. And I got the best right beside me as well. My name's Pyro J. I'm here with Vaudable. Vaude, we made it to Friday. Are we ready for the final day?
I am so ready for the competition here. All the schools mixed together to see who is going to be the best of the best, making it to those regionals that'll be happening in January. It's going to be a great time. All best of fives all the way, and hopefully we don't have all sweeps.
Oof. All right, we're praying to those Rocket League gods. Can we get some good matchups? And you know what? We got some cat action as well.
We did,
a little bit of cat jamming in the chat. I better see it today for the big matches going down. If you guys want a little briefer on the format, we ran through the group stages, about 24 groups of 4 different teams, and top 3 of those groups did move on, and they're playing in this little bracket structure where there's 6 teams to move on. Basically, we're at the point where we have 2 final matches of all those 12 brackets, and every single match will dictate a winner to move on to the regional lands. So that's what we're talking about. This is the Grand Finals Day. This is what all of the stakes lead up to.
All the marbles.
Every match, all the marbles. It has it, Vaude.
It's going to be a great time between the teams that we have. The first 2 that we have is Garinger A versus South Mech A. These 2 teams trying to see exactly how far they can make it in their specific pool, moving on to that. And again, all they have to do is win, and they are in. They don't have to worry about a lower bracket, don't have to worry about another matchup after this. It's just the one series for each of these teams to book their tickets to those regionals.
And you mentioned Garinger A. That is a team that I have seen, and I'm excited to see as this match is beginning, folks. Game 1 of this best of 5. My eyes are on Echo. This player, I couldn't stop talking about him. The first one on the ball as well. They were the front runner. They were the one carrying the torch, Vaudable, for a lot of the qualifier games I saw earlier on. We'll see how they make an impact in this game.
That's going to be a big question mark, too, for the other side as well. Who is going to be the biggest star on their side? I mean, Math and Jory, I love the name. Maybe they're going to be the one getting it. And, hey, say their name and they will score first in this matchup.
He calls it into action, and it's not until I actually see the roster that casted these guys too. Math Enjoyer is known to know his geometry because of the crazy angles that this player produces. So it's not surprising as well to see them fire up. This is what it's all about, the grand finals for qualifiers. You got some incredible teams matching up, but it's South Mech with the tone center, the rebounds, and maybe a second goal here if Nidak can get it there. Pass to Math Enjoyer will go in off the goalie touch.
So close, too, with the follow-up, but didn't really need it. Just had some great pressure. Math and Jory was there to go for a finish and maybe kind of faked out the defense a little bit. They were expecting another touch, and they went for it, not as enthused as they should have been for that challenge as it went right off the crossbar and back into their net. Garinger A struggling a little bit in this first minute, but they still have plenty of time to bounce back.
That's the thing, there's so much time, and I know it's early in the series, but this does kind of feel like a team-defining moment here for Garinger A, right? Are they going to fall to bits and pieces off the first minute of the first game, or are they able to compose themselves? A lot of these high school teams, you look very closely at the mental of these teams. Even against adversity, can you keep a level head?
Hopefully they can do just that, especially on offense. They had some pressure going for them. They do have a chance for a redirect that would have been beautiful if they got that on target, but I still like the effort that they are showcasing thus far. Even though they're down by 2 goals, they are not out of it just yet, and that's the mentality that you need to have to try and book your ticket into those regionals.
Well, that mentality is headstrong for Lego Gamer, because that's 2 touches in a row to give themselves a chance. And Ian Warrior, a powerful shot, but the accuracy and the lack thereof still plaguing Garinger A as they're trying to find it between the posts. Decent possession, though, still being worked up as Ian Warrior dunks the defender. There's a shot taken from Echo as he defeats 2 defenders on the take.
Echo with the first goal for Garinger A. You said this is the player to look out for, and this is exactly why. A great setup from Ian Warrior, but the double commit is what did South Mech A dirty on defense. They weren't ready. They were disillusioned and destroyed afterwards from that offensive pressure.
Incredible. I feel a little disillusioned and dizzy after seeing that goal explosion, by the way. The Nomster goal explosion doesn't rear its ugly head and often enough, if you ask me. But Math Enjoyer, keen to raise the numbers on their side of the scoreboard as often as he likes.
Added things back up to the initial deficit that they had between the two teams and wanted to make sure that the equation was right at the end of the day so that they got full marks. Nonetheless, though, South Mech A right on track to move forward to that last half of the game, but Akko is going to make it that much more difficult for them to hold on to their lead.
Om nom nom. Give me more goals like that, says Akko. And we're witnessing a duo that loves to feast together, I think. Ian Warrior again setting up Akko on that play.
Beautiful coordination, and that's what you want to see from the two forward members of either squad on this side. So nice to see Garinger A doing what they can to work in synergy, almost getting things set up for Lego Gamer that time, but Math Enjoyer saw the signs as they were coming towards them and took a stop there before anything could get past them. As we're at the halfway point of this game, it doesn't seem any closer to being the last goals that we'll be seeing scored here.
No, and you know what? That's exactly what we asked for when we tune into these games. Goals can become abundant when you're working for a regional spot. Math Enjoyer right under that ball gets a solid flick, but look at the ball right over. It's up to Nidak to make that final save, and he does just that. The passing play, a cute combination for South Mech.
And that is 1 + 1 + 1 equals a hat trick for Math Enjoyer there, as they're able to carry their team forward even more so, making the deficit that much stronger between the two teams, but still so much time on the clock for Garinger A to bounce back again. They've been down by 2 goals basically all game, even with the 2 that they have granted themselves. So we got to see their fate changed, but it's all in their hands now with the time on the clock.
All right, this is really it here. Akko does manage to get a stop there. Attempts to control the ball out of their own corner and happy to wave dash around, but more so sitting like a duck there. Post of that gets a demolition, so still wants to be a force to be reckoned with. Akko, a shot, that's gonna be on target. It's just within the posts there on the right side, and you can see lunging defenders who just can't get to it.
Oh my goodness, so unfortunate, but om nom nom is all they're going to be seeing every day of the week here as that goal explosion happens yet again. Garinger A putting on a showcase of epic proportions for this potential comeback, and if they can pull it off, that's definitely going to be a feather in their cap moving forward in this best of 5. Great demos yet again, but unfortunately not enough for them to get through that defensive wall that is South Mech A. And Math Enjoyer, they know that they need to get back to that 2-goal lead because that's where they're most comfortable.
Yeah, look for that player to try to dominate the pitch to get that cushion lead. However, Akko, if that first touch was a little to the right side, it would have been a double tap, but forget that in the past and look to the present, to now. It's Ian Warrior for the pinpoint accurate goal.
Beautiful touches left and right and everywhere on the field from Garinger A. South Mech, doing everything that they can to try and stop the advancement from Garinger A. Those early goals were really what was holding them up on a pedestal throughout this first half of the game, but the second half has been dominated by Garinger A, even with South Mech still just barely getting tied up with the last minute to play. 40 seconds now, though. Garinger A, they have all the momentum on their side, but can South Mech do anything about it?
That's the question here on this possession. Final 30, but it's a boomer from Akko, and these are always dangerous off the backboard. The follow-up touch saved well by Nidak. If you want to put the cape on the back of anybody on defense for South Mech, it's Nidak again and again. Has made critical saves, but they may need to make another there as Nidak pulls off the play and gets right back into the challenge. A little late to it. Another defender demo. There's one left. It is able to be saved by Math Enjoyer. Ian Warrior from the corner. Shot there from Lego Gamer. We've been quiet about them before, but popping off now. They are from Garinger.
Everyone getting involved in this play, but who else but Ian Warrior setting things up yet again from the corner with the pop forward, and then Lego Gamer activated online and ready to build against the competition. with this lead that they now have to hold on for the next few seconds. There is one final opportunity for South Mech A. Goes off the backboard, but no! The attackers bump into each other when there could have been potential for a goal, and Garinger get away with it.
You talked about Lego Gamer building something beautiful. I thought it was a house of cards that was ready to fall on over with that final play, but South Mech, they can't finish it in clutch fashion, and sneaking away with the victory with finesse is Garinger A.
Beautiful first game. Love to see the competition that has come out already for our grand final matches to qualify for those regionals, and that's just the first game of 2 matches that we're seeing at this point in time. So we have Palisades A and Palisades B in just a couple moments, and here we go. First goal already scored by Palisades as they are looking to take a page out of anyone's book, really, as this team on a roll in the group stages, but here as well on the stream.
Yeah, that much is clear here for Archangel off this second goal for Palisades. Folks, if you've been tuning into the broadcast this week, it shouldn't be surprised to see another game, but just in case we've got some new people here, this is not the same match. As Vaudable mentioned, a second match happening simultaneously. We're going to be keeping up with those other teams we just saw as well, but for now, gotta see the action that's unfolding here between Palisades and Palisades B. Vaudable, my only question is, where's the third from Palisades B? They only got 2 on the field right now.
Oh, no. I mean, we've had a couple of teams have 2 players show up and still make it into these grand final matchups. So this might just be that case. Maybe they had a prior appointment or some other extracurriculars that they were working on, and where they're like, the other team's got this. Well, that'd be the first team we would see to make it to the regional with just 2 players, and what a feat that would be, but also what a tragedy, that would be if you were the team that lost to that. Either way, though, Palisades making sure that doesn't happen. Archangel is just going to be doing everything possible to get these goals for the side of Palisades.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying there, too, because for Palisades, it's like, if you get eliminated like this, they don't want to go home to Ma and Pa and say, oh, I heard you lost. Was it at least a good game? And then say, oh, we lost a 3v2. Because that's never a good story to tell. So they're looking to come out on top in this match and topple the B team of Palisades, who, as you said, unfortunately could not put together a 3-person team. That said, 4th goal here for Palisades, and it looks like that red carpet might be rolled out for them for the regional land.
Makes a lot of sense. Only a couple teams that competed in their individual groups. I think 6 out of the 24 lost at least a game. So the rest of them were all 6-0 sweeps. And wow. Palisades, one of those teams that didn't drop a single game to make it into these grand final matchups. So they're not looking to do that here in the best of 5. They want to qualify with an undefeated record, and with 4-0 and playing against 2 out of 3 players on the other side, I think they can do that.
Yeah, that think is turning to no. This information turns to knowledge as yet another goal for Palisades. Gets right in. That's Bevier for that one. 47 miles per hour. Bit of a heater. You know, enough power to get past the 2-player defense of the Palisades B. You wonder what it's going to take, though, for Palisades to get something to go their way. Bevier given a lot of space on this play, and Archangel pre-jumping the play, dodging into the shot. And it might be a 6th goal, so it's nothing people will clamor about, but the mechanics on this play is something to shout about.
This is something you're going to see in some freestyler like montage that they're putting together for their friends, and there's just epic music in the background. It gets to like a cinematic, and then it just goes through. It's like this was scored during a tournament grand finals, but they aren't going to tell you that they were 6-0 at that time.
Yeah. It's the calculated omission of key details that create a wonderful storyline. But
there we go.
The first goal for Palisades B. It's a quick turnaround for them. Archangel, you know, they're chilling out here on this play, but in reality, Xavier able to manage that ball to the opposite post.
Yeah, Xavier doing everything possible to set up for their own trip to Brazil if Palisades are able to get one more goal in. But still, minute 20 seconds, having a goal on the board in a best of 5, much better motivation for yourself. And also, solid looks there from ZZ, who was trying to just get things away from the defenders. But when you have 2 members up in a 2v3 situation, it's very difficult to get back in time. They had to commit, had to get the goal, and because they didn't, that's of course going to lead to that counterattack.
You risk it for the biscuit. Sometimes somebody eats the biscuit before you. I don't know. They didn't get it. The biscuit's gone. And so is there 1 goal to show for maybe a comeback with the momentum back in Philip O'Berry's side? It's looking very solid from them. Adonism so close to an 8th goal here. Just with a minute remaining. Seems like this could be finalized. It is a pass from ZZ to Alex Xavier. They try getting it through the wall of players from Philip O'Berry, but just build on top of that wall, Vaudeville. It seems like the sky's the limit.
Sky does seem to be the limit here, and Archangel is flying high as far as they can see, up and above the rest of the competition with so many goals to back things up there. So beautiful looks from Philip O'Berry A. I'm also liking the look of their mascot / logo that they have. It looks like a quill, but also like a cardinal, I think, too. It's kind of cool. I like it.
What kind of destiny can they write for themselves, you wonder? And Archangel especially, representing that in-flight motion, but this time, flying high as ZZ. It's a tough aerial to get on target, and quite a distance as well. That's behind the half-court line, but a deep one for Palisades B. They'll take that.
Oof. Nice look there from Palisades B as they are getting a second one on the board. Hopefully a couple more where that came from, transitioning it into momentum for the next game itself, and seeing exactly where the disruptions work best against Philip O'Berry. And hey, there's another one. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Okay, I was about to say, that was bound to go in. I don't know how that bounced off the woodwork that way.
He's been aiming for that far post kind of all game, right? But oh man, that's a dangerous game to play, as you can see. But he knew Alex Xavier had his back. You know, share the wealth. At times it's needed, especially with the time on the clock and the state of this game. Folks, with 10 seconds remaining, whether Bavier lands this in or not, the game 1 is going to be win by Philip O'Berry's A team, showing everybody why they're the first team to choose from Philip O'Berry High School. Game 1 in their favor.
Ah, there it goes. You can see the words Cardinals. I just couldn't see that in the smaller side of the overlay, but I like it. It's pretty cool. Either way, though, the Palisades Panthers, I'm assuming that is too. Typically how things go there. They had a decent amount of shots. They were able to score on a lot of those goals too, and of course, working together for those. And even the ball touches, you can see, very closely contested, but again, when you're down a player, even though you might have the best 2 players in the world, it's that much harder to overcome a strong team who has not dropped a single game. And well, talking about another team who hasn't really dropped many games and dominated their group, going at least 6 and something. For Garinger A, they awaited their fate and who was going to face off against them. South Mech A, who 3-1'd yesterday to make it into this specific matchup against Huff High School Team B. They are down already in this one, 2-0, where it was pretty close in the last one. Still 2-goal deficit, not too bad, but with this much time remaining, you got to wonder, South Mech, is there going to be hope for them? Because they might have to pull off a reverse sweep if they lose this game.
Yeah, I think that's what's powering them through that first touch at the half-court line, trying to send it, bullet it, rip it over towards the goal line, but Garinger A and their turnaround defense just had it prepped, had it ready. Look at Akko steering all the way to the ceiling on this. You can't give this player that kind of space to set it up for Lego Gamer. Ball rings right off the crossbar and comes so close to that 3rd goal, but Akko still keen to pounce as it's Lego Gamer instead. Ian Warrior appears to be on the case as Nidak just can't climb to that touch. Back at the half-court line, more chances needed for South Mech.
And they don't have many more seconds on the clock for them to take those chances, but they're doing everything that they can. Mathinger, the star of the show for the last game, got like 4 goals for their team. Still was not enough for them to overcome the odds and get the victory and stop the comeback train as it left the station for Garinger A, but comeback train hasn't even booted up yet. There's no coal in the engine at all for their side to get a goal with the pressure right against them and less than 10 seconds to go now.
It's as if they're throwing the train workers off the train itself or something here, as South Mech just do not have the reinforcements capable of putting that ball in the net. It's going to reach the ground instead. Garinger A, they don't get to face a two-person roster. They have to face the likes of South Mech A, who has been incredible this series so far. So what a standout statement to shut them out in game number 2.
Beautiful look there from Garinger, and I looked at their record going into this one. What do you guess it was? Were they undefeated or were they not, Pyro?
I'm saying undefeated.
Yes, they are undefeated as well. 6-0 in their group. They're looking to continue that forward as well. One game away from 9-0 to book their ticket into the regional itself. So great looks from Garinger. We'll see if they can keep things up. 2 goals, but 12 shots showcase exactly how dominant they were in that game, even though the score was not in their favor with how many saves we saw come out from South Mech. It's crazy to think that only 2 goals went in.
Really is. It speaks a lot again for South Mech, but if we're talking about saves, I think we need to talk about this next game that we got to check out. Saves are needed for Palisades B. How about Archangel with the save?
Ooh.
And hello, Alex Xavier. Oh, reaching the net, but also a defender. And things have just gone haywire since we joined this lobby as another shot rings off the post. Will we see a sense of normalcy here?
No.
Oh, there's normalcy in Philip O'Berry's scoring, but I don't know about anything else of this play.
Panic is basically what we saw happen for like the last minute since we've tuned in here, Pyro. And unfortunately for Palisades, not enough for them to stop that one going through. They were so close to scoring a goal, but Archangel, again, seemed to be in the outfield for Philip O'Berry and doing everything to carry them forward and get those saves and eventually the counterattack necessary for the victory. No counterattack really needed here. They just needed a good shot, and Philip O'Berry, again, is going to carry them or not Philip O'Berry, excuse me, Archangel is going to try and carry Philip O'Berry to another victory in this game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the player that has just commanded this lead, I would say, in the form of providing direction for the team. A lot of times if there's a loose ball, that's the one in aerial sequence is saying, I know exactly where to put this thing. I will shout out Bevier as well, because there's been some good takes from that player as well, as Bevier is on this ball, but only gets a light touch on it. And they say, you know what? No, keep Archangel's name in headlights. That is truly my teammate and the player to watch.
Whew. Beautiful looks yet again. Bevier sending things up so many times, and Palisades B, really it seemed like their best shot at tying things up and getting maybe a potential lead was when we just tuned in, but unfortunately it did not work out for them. So Philip O'Berry and Palisades, I think they're trying to talk about, potential for forfeits maybe. I don't know exactly what's going on there, but still trying to have fun, still trying to play the games. And even though Philip O'Berry have more members, I mean, might as well just play it out and see how it goes and have a good time enjoying some Rocket League, because they only got one match scheduled for the day. So showcase your skills as best you can.
That's right. With everything against you, you still got you and your teammate on the field and the ball to hit. So get to hitting here as Bevier and Adism do exactly that in a combined force. ZZ with a very unique half flip. That was a rare way to coordinate your car into the backwards direction, but manages to do it. And they do defend this ball for the time being. ZZ trying to get some control on it, but it's double commit with his only teammate, L. Xavier. So they're doing their best here to get this ball on the other side and rack up a goal just the same way they did in game number 1. Bevier and Archangel a little clustered here. Palisades B a chance to take advantage here as Philip O'Berry, almost every player is around this ball right now. Archangel with quite the doink to put that ball off the backboard. Xavier turns on this. Half a minute remaining here to get something going, show off their skills. Archangel wants to do that instead. It is a nice save though by ZZ, but it follows up in an open look from Adonism.
There we go. Another goal from Philip O'Berry A. And the A maybe stands for Adonism or Archangel, something about that. But either way, teams deciding what they're wanting to do after this game. Maybe we'll get some words from the admins on exactly how that will fare for these players. But Either way, 17 seconds on this one between Palisades B and Philip O'Berry A, as it's pretty much set and done between these two teams. 2-0 in that scoreline for the best of 5. So now we're tuning into the other series where South Mech got a crazy bounce angle for that goal.
Yeah, we tuned it just in time to get a replay on this one. And no matter how it happened, here's the thing. South Mech A just ended the scoring drought for themselves. It was Garinger A in game number 2 that produced a shutout against South Mech. So for them to get their first goal and do it early, you couldn't ask for a better tone setter for them.
Gonna have to set the tone in a completely different fashion, though, if they want to pull off a full reverse sweep. Saw it happen once at least, though, yesterday with Huff Team A, able to do that in style somehow after they were destroyed in the first 2 games. Then a Lightning McQueen ended up on the field, and that was not the exact car that was needed for the team who was on top, and instead they lost the rest of the games afterwards. So as long as Garinger don't pull out the Lightning McQueen car, maybe they're going to be safe from that reverse sweep.
And I don't think they will, because we haven't mentioned it, but they're actually in complete coordination on their cars.
I like it.
Every blue Dominus is represented for these players right now. They're kind of hosting different decals, but it's a good look for them. And it does sport the coordination that has been needed. A lot of it being enable Akko, whether it's from Ian Warrior or Lego Gamer. They have put Akko in great scoring positions, but here's the thing, Vaudable. They have yet to do that here in game number 3, and they may need to if they want to avoid the start of the reverse sweep.
This is just the Garinger jerseys that we are seeing on the players of Garinger. They don't have like in-game decals, so they got to do what they can, and I like the synergy there between all of them, and hopefully we can see what's going on with these two teams. But Garinger A, excuse me, sorry, I had the hiccups there for a second because we're seeing a bit of a hiccup from them defensively a couple times with these opportunities, but not on offense. Great shot, and we have a Rule 1 situation. We'll, excuse me, see how long it lasts.
It's awkward too because it's on the side wall, so I saw them trailing back down to the ground, and it seems it has been broken up. No word on if that was an individual player or just momentum and gravity bringing them down from a 2v3 and up to a 3v3. We'll see as we're halfway through game 3, and Garinger hoping to find more slip-ups and hiccups against South Mech.
Well,
Or
maybe that's a hiccup. I wanted to let that one breathe for a second and give myself some room to get rid of these hiccups, but we see another one there. Lego Gamer, it's so hard to make a save like that when you're going back towards your own net, but it also didn't seem like they had any boost to the tank. They just jumped for it, and they were floating there for a second. Went for it. Seemed like they had all the time in the world, but they didn't because it was a 2-on-1 situation. They were not facing the right direction. Well, that's a perfect direction for Lego Gamer to make up for it.
Lego Gamer. Gotta call this player's name out. We heard from the chat that this could be the carry, and how about this goal? Just sends it right through where it's been teamwork to make the dream work all along for Garinger A. Sometimes it's those solo efforts. Sometimes it's just that hard shot, well placed that can get past the South Mech defense. So well done on the side of Garinger to get something on the board, but you can see South Mech, they do not want to go quietly into that good night. They want to survive here and advance to at least a game 4.
Less than 2 minutes to go to. This entire scoreline can flip on its head between these two teams in a matter of moments, let alone 2 minutes, based on what we saw happen in the last game. So it's not over until there's 0 seconds on the clock, and there's at least a lead for one team. And we might see a tying opportunity again, but somehow the defense of South Mech A, we saw some crazy saves from them before, but we're seeing even better ones today.
We are, and more needed here for Garinger if they want to hold on here. Ian Warrior getting around this ball and then getting a great dunk on the Nedak. Prince the Kid is needed on this play, but drives right around the ball. Pretty solid backflip, though, to keep things controlled. Opening there, Ian Warrior had, but is cut off by South Mech A. They're doing their best to stave off this attack from South Mech. But you can see, or from a Garinger A, but you can see how it has been worked up and produced even more strongly over time. Lego Gamer gets another solid touch, a pass out in front of the net, and Warrior just a bit late. It was a quick pass and difficult to get to, but you can see the opening still come for Garinger A.
Oh, so close yet so far again for Garinger, but this might be the time to shine. There's just one defender at center, but nobody's there. Lego Gamer, ye of little faith, unfortunately, but also didn't want to worry about a counterattack. But when you're down by one, you got to give it your all, especially when you're trying to close out the series and go undefeated into the regionals. This might be their first game loss if things continue in these next 30 seconds.
I'll tell you what, if this was darts, and the goal was a bullseye, and the backboard was the rest of the board, Garinger would have 250 points. They've hit the backboard how many times? And that's
too many.
Could still be points, but not at this point. They need something in the net. Under the crossbar, now or never. Lego Gamer up high, saved though by Nidak, and that could be the last one they need. Ooh. South Mech A, what a defensive masterclass, and as well, great vision to see the balls raise above the crossbar as they do survive that.
Look at those 8 saves yet again for South Mech. The defense is what won them the day there. Nothing else really other than just having one more goal than the other team. 12 shots, twice in a row from Garinger A. Firing on all cylinders, but not accurately enough, it seems. Or even when they're accurate, too much defense for their own good to handle against. And we did get an update. Philip O'Berry, they were able to get the victory in the end to close out their series 5-2 in that third game. So congrats to them for going undefeated against Palisades and moving on to those regionals as their first team from the B stream to book their ticket. But South Mech, they're not over yet. Their journey is just beginning, it feels like, and they got a long road ahead of them for this reverse sweep, Pyro.
I love that we got the full spectrum of grand final matches in these two games. You know, we had that quick sweep from Philip O'Berry, and I will say after the whole week, it's great to congratulate a team finally to qualify officially for that regional spot. But this one's going to be earned in more difficult fashion. Garinger A, you know, they were undefeated, but not anymore. Have suffered their first loss. And after the taste of defeat, can Garinger A rise up and win in this match point scenario of Game 4?
Here we go. All comes down to this for South Mech. And already another shot from Lego Gamer. 2 defenders go for it. It seems the 2-pronged defense from South Mech A is the strategy that's working in the loadsome so far for them. Somehow, all the shots that are coming through, it's not 50-50s, it's 100 versus 50 instead for the South Mech defense.
Listen, winning those challenges can be critical to advancing your team into better scoring situations, but if it's Garinger A putting themselves in scoring positions, I just need the accuracy to pull through. That was our biggest judgment on this team. Credit due to South Mech for surviving so well on defense and having people on the goal line and limiting plays like this where they're double committing on one ball. But Garinger A, you're gonna get chances on the other side. Take at least half a second to set up that shot and put it between the uprights.
That's the longest amount of time we've gone in either of the games so far for this series to see a individual goal scored by either team. We saw a couple back and forth before in game number 1. South Mech, they weren't able to get 1 and 2, and then we did see them do pretty well for themselves when we tuned in for game 3. So really slowing things down here on Champions Field between these two rosters. And this is really the Champions game for Garinger. They know if it goes to 5, they aren't going to feel as confident as they were going into this series, and still somehow saved again for South Mech, the defense making the difference yet again.
That's what it's been. That's what it will be if South Mech make it all the way to a Game 5. Well, let's see them get a point on the board as well, baby. Let's see this comeback story take place. They're going to have to work it from their whole other end of the field. Math Enjoyer beats 1, beats 2, tries to flick past 3, but that backflip doesn't have enough forward momentum to get there for the goal. Prince the Kid with a full tank and boost goes for the bump on the backboard, but Lego Gamer evades it and tries to manage a clear. Does just that. Full boost there. Can they get it to the net? No, just too narrow. And of course, yet another ball can't reach the net.
Ooh, so unfortunate as we are a couple seconds away from halftime and this game getting even closer between these two teams. But South Mech, the one thing in the back of their minds is they still need 2 games in a row to win this series and make it to those regionals, whereas Garinger, all it's going to take at this point is a single goal for them to get the victory. They lost a game, but they haven't lost the war just yet until things drop down with a goal against them, and there's 0 seconds then.
Oh man, we're getting closer and closer to that 0-second mark here. With these zeros still on the scoreboard. How about this though from Ian Warrior? I call him the assist king at this point. Has set up so many beautiful plays, especially players like Akko, but almost lately Lego Gamer. All players on this side of Garinger A outfitted to make that clutch play in this final 2 minutes, but they've got to get themselves in position to make it happen. Math Enjoyer cuts us off. Nidak trying to beat Akko on the ball, and Math Enjoyer released from the offensive end as it puts themselves back into defensive position. Here's the shot from Lego Gamer. It's gonna end up wide as Math Enjoyer picks the ball up yet again.
Ooh, so close yet so far for either team to get that 1 goal, but this might be it. Akko has the challenge, gave the ball up a little bit too soon, I feel like. Had no boost to work with though, so they were hoping that someone could back them up on the counterattack afterwards, but no dice. Everyone shaking in their boots. They don't know when to commit. They don't know how fully to commit on offense either, and they just don't want to be the team to make the mistake that cost them the game and potentially the series. Momentum will be huge for South Mech if they win. Garinger, if they win, well, it's all over for the other team, and they already will just count their lucky stars to move forward, and Akko does get that first goal.
There it is. There it is. It was written in the stars, it felt like, as Akko had the perfect setup off the backboard, and all they needed to do was turn to the other side of the Dominus, create a wall that would push the ball into the net. And there you have it. Garinger A have the lead, but it hasn't yet sealed their fate of qualifying for the regional. They've got to defeat South Mech. They have to keep this scoreline in their favor, but they're playing defense now. Math Enjoyer trying to get a back pass out to a teammate. Nidak cuts it off, and maybe that wasn't the play they needed. They're only able to stretch his ball east to west. Prince the Kid just about steals the boost from Math Enjoyer, who needed it on the counterattack. South Mech running out of options as time wears thin, and Akko, second goal, may have just sealed the fate against South Mech.
Well, now we know the A in Garinger A stands for Akko, and the ace play that we've been seeing from them so far, chomping on the competition and at the bit for those goals. 14 seconds, it's possible. 7 seconds typically the average time for a kickoff goal, but it's going in the correct direction. Need a goal now as a miss comes out, and there's no chance and no time for South Mech to bounce back. It will be Garinger A making it into the finals, and there's one more for the road.
Lego Gamer, come on now. This is gorgeous. We've talked Akko this, Akko that, but you cannot deny the fact that Ian Warrior and especially Lego Gamer have stepped up in a big way throughout this series. This is truly a team that is working to the optimization of the sum of their parts, that all 3 of them can really invest in that teamwork to pull away the win. So congratulations, Garinger A. Your spot in the regional lands for VESL Season 2 is secured off your defeat against South Mech. Yeah, they gave up their first loss. And yeah, they're pretty darn good at keeping this ball up.
Seriously.
Honestly, I'm pretty impressed. But still, their win is there, and they have qualified.
Finally, we see it. And hey, how many shots has it been? Like every game, Pyro? 12. That is the magic number for Garinger. That is the most consistent I have ever seen a team shoot that many shots against any squads that are out there in Rocket League. Kudos to them. And again, 8 saves for South Mech. What is happening here? It's like they're just copying and pasting their stats each time. But nonetheless, the 8 saves did not prove to be enough this time because there was only an individual shot from South Mech that game. They were shut down and shut out, and they had no chances to wake up, unfortunately, as they were sent home sleeping with the fishes afterwards. So it will be Garinger taking that victory. They did drop a game, but good footage for them to go over to see what they need to improve upon to make sure they don't drop more games in those regionals.
Definitely, and I know how strongly VESL encourages coaching for their teams, so would love to see that coaching taking action and have them review those VODs before getting into their next match at the regional land. But how about this, folks? Before we get into our next match for these VESL qualifiers, we are going to take a very short break. More grand finals of these qualifiers coming soon. Hey everyone, we know you missed us. It's me, Pyro J, and Vaudable back with our VESL Season 2 qualifier. Final day, all grand finals. Vaudable, we've had 2 teams already qualified to their regional lands. I think they're feeling good, and we're waiting to see who else is feeling just as good.
We're having a good time so far. I mean, we saw some interesting matchups for the most part. A team trying to 2v3 if they could, but as we have seen, the top dogs that are out there are just that good. But in our next upcoming matchup that we have in Pool 4, it is Edgecomb Early College High, and then we have NC Cyber Academy facing off against them. And NC Cyber Academy 3-0 Newbern High Team C to book their ticket into this qualifying matchup for the regionals. And then Edgecomb Early High, they only dropped a single game to Newbern High Team A. So, hey, we're having a little bit of interconnection with these matchups.
And I've watched actually all of those Newbern teams throughout this qualifier week. A and B, very solid teams. C, surprised me and still being solid. So taking a win over that team is a good resume builder for each of these teams, honestly. So
well, we got a different one here.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a surprise. So folks, if you're new, we do cast 2 different matches simultaneously happening. So we're gonna start out instead with JT Williams and Mallard Creek. And if we do want to talk about this team, I'm gonna talk big about I think Grassy surprised me a lot with JT Williams, as this team loves to show off their mechanics. Vaudable, they've got like flip resets and double taps galore, so I'm just gonna say prepare for it.
Also got to say for Mallard Creek, because I got to see them. So, hey, we got some experience on either side of the pitch this time. KSM Predator, really the one to look out for on that squad. But it looks like AMM is the one to get that first goal. Don't know why it's like start out, but it is what it is. Maybe visual bugs here and there. Either way, net was kind of cleared away. Not too much the defense could do, but they weren't really prepared for that shot to come through. So Mallard Creek A, they got the work cut out for them, even though they 3-0'd to book their ticket here in their last matchup.
Yeah, it's a great resume to have those wins, and yeah, I'm gonna love a replay on this goal here, because this did knock off the post and in, right? Ev just on the wrong side of it.
Waterfalled in.
Bizarre.
That's insane. I've never seen that happen off of a kickoff.
I want like a 4K high definition replay. Yeah, red zone replay on that one. But we got to move on. I talked about the double taps, and there it is. Saba Nutella giving us just about every kind of goal you could get in Rocket League.
And this just goes to show that there's levels to competition between the different teams that are out there. Because Mallard Creek, they like dominated their matchup in round 1 of the playoff bracket to make it into regionals, and they were looking really good there. And well, JT Williams, they showcased that, hey, we also dominated our bracket. We didn't need to play yesterday, and this is the reason why.
I mean, I actually love this narrative, because it is exactly what you said. It showcases the broad level of talent among the state, though, of North Carolina. It's like you could think you're the best of the bunch, and then you hear about this other high school of JT Williams, and they're ready to kind of put you in your place. So I feel like for Mallard Creek A, if they're used to dominating in their high school regions, this is really good experience for them to say, oh, all right, it's time to really put some pep in our step and see how we can best ourselves against some of the other top teams in the state.
And JT Williams, even in their group, did drop a individual game to a different squad. So interesting to see how things had developed to that point in time. And Mallard Creek actually took a 3-0 against Olympic High School Team B, who was in the same group as JT Williams. So they maybe had some good experience, but that was also the team who was 3rd out of the 3 teams who did make it into this specific pool. So maybe not as prepared as they had hoped to be going into game number 1. So even though they are down by 4 and there's still plenty of time, I think their minds are on the prize for the next game going forward. And we have just been told a fun fact: JT Williams top 4 in the state last year. So that's kind of why they're so good.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense, especially if these are all returners. I mean, you spoke so much about preparation, going back to the side of Mallard Creek's A team, and I think you're totally right. Like, we talked about, can you prepare for a team like JT Williams in this match? Maybe that wasn't the case, but now it's about, can you prepare for the rest of this series? How can you go toe-to-toe with JT Williams, learn as much as you can in game one about matching their pace, challenging these aerials quickly, making sure their shots hit every end of the post before going in. You got to take every play really as a learning moment to say, okay, once this scoreboard resets at game 2, we are on.
The interesting thing about this matchup too, Pyro, is in a lot of the earlier games, even in the group stage, and even yesterday too, we saw kind of a difference in mechanics between the teams. This, I'd say, a lot of it comes down to coordination with the different rosters. JT Williams, you can tell they've been playing together for a long time. They know the different kickoff strategies. I mean, these pop-offs that we're seeing every single time, the consistency from JT Williams, it's like they've been playing the game for a decent amount of time at a decent rank as well. So, like, JT Williams, they were a top 4 for a reason, and I could see them getting to that point again based on what they're showcasing.
Let's see if that's the case. That's what we're looking for. Most certainly, both teams really performing at their peak potential. Seba Nutella sees the peak at the very ceiling, tries to climb all the way up there. Grassy off the crossbar. One final shot from AMM won't go. So how about a second attempt from Seba Nutella? The way this offensive rotation works is just a constant cycle of attacks, and how can you stave off that rebounding effort?
You can't. It's the long and short of it at that point in time. But nonetheless, 7-0, JT Williams. I feel like based on what we have witnessed so far in this game, this is how the entire series might go. Some of the games you're like, okay, there is a chance for the other team to bounce back, and we saw it a little bit earlier on. Again, it was 4 goals with 3 minutes remaining, but as time has dwindled down, so have the chances for Mallard Creek to pull things back in game number 1 at least. But it's unlucky for them to have to face off against this top 4 squad in the nation from last season, who are showcasing why they were top 4 for a reason. Because even going into these qualifying matches, we're like, okay, it's not going to be as big of blowouts as there was yesterday. Then we started to think, Pyro, we're like, wait, a lot of these teams completely dominated their groups and didn't even drop a single game. So it's crazy to think about that.
I know. And that's like the format just giving some of these teams justice that you wouldn't have imagined they deserved. But this is where we find ourselves in the final qualifier match. It definitely speaks to the caliber of play that North Carolina high school esports is bringing, and it is bringing the roughest and the toughest. 9-0 for JT Williams here as they look for double digits. If they can maneuver this ball across the field, certainly Grassy has the ability to do that. Pass over to AMM will go deflected. Mallard Creek able to do just that as Seba Nutella looking to regain control of this ball. But he gets right back in their corner. Still on that pursuit for the first goal.
The own goal.
Mallard Creek, and that pursuit will end here. How about that? After all, we do get one from them.
That we do. One for Mallard Creek for the road. A bit of an own goal. Probably would have been still scored by KSM Predator, so we'll see what happens. But we'll be getting into that other series we were talking about relatively soon as well, so that we could see, you know, exactly how things are going on that side of things, because we kind of know where things are going right now, and it might be going towards a 10-1 finish if JT Williams want to end things off in style. They want to be the team to score the most goals in their qualifying match, and well, at least on this stream, they have the record currently.
Yeah, that's for sure. They've got it, and they'll extend it 10-1 for Grassy and the likes of JT Williams as they punch through their ticket to double digits. That is not something we see every day.
That's very true. Double digits, got the 10 burger, as I like to call it. I don't know why, but that's what I call it.
I like it.
Less
Sounds
than
good.
30 seconds to go, though, so we'll see what Mallard Creek can do. Maybe one more as well. Motivation for them to go into the next one there as well, but almost that one being stopped, but it will be AMM getting their hat trick. I think everyone now has at least a hat trick on JT Williams.
You know what? I'm upset, actually, Vaudable. I'm going to air my frustrations here. We were so close to all ones on the scoreboard. They couldn't score that 11th goal at 11 seconds left. Like, at least give us that, guys. There it is. Take a snapshot while it lasts. But there you have it, folks. 11-1.
In game one, too.
Yeah, here you go. There's all ones as well. Listen. End the game. All right, 11-1. JT Williams, they've done it.
There we go.
Game number 1.
Woo.
Insatiable victory for them. As we can imagine, they'll move on. Vaudable, that's unfair. 2,200 is their combined score.
18 shots, 6 assists. Wow. That's all I got to say is wow to that one. They're like, we are going to win this, and we are going to win this in a way that you hope that you did not even show up today. And that is what they did. Domination of the highest degree for JT Williams. But hey, that's game 1. We'll see what can happen for game 2. Let's look at game 1 of the other series, though. Edgecomb EC versus NC Cyber that we have here on the docket for the other matchup. And I was talking about it before. NC Cyber, they 3-0'd New Bern High Team C. Edgecomb, they only dropped a single game, but they didn't drop a series. And that game was to New Bern High Team A in their specific pool. So we'll see what happens between these two teams. Dark is the one to really look out for NC Cyber on this squad. Mocha Dark as well. I made a joke yesterday with Monkey Man that they are just different types of coffee.
Yeah, so I'm going to agree completely because I was able to catch a whiff of NC Cyber and the good smelling coffee that they might just be. And it was Mocha Dark really being a facilitator and at times an all-time goalie, what I noticed from Mocha Dark. And Dark... Yeah, it's all about enabling this player. Watch for them to just push upfield single-handedly, at times with Waddle Dee by their side, and hope to get those goals in. Hope that that's a strategy that works for them, because what I'm interested to see is what is Edgecomb bringing to the table for this qualifying grand finals match. Is it maybe more of a balanced effort from this squad that can topple a more single-handed approach from NC Cyber?
That is the question that will soon be answered, and there's the shot, but no, what the follow-up do from Waddle Dee? That's gotta hurt. It was wide open. It was in basically, but it didn't pass the goal line, so it didn't count. The VAR was not needed on that play.
You'd think maybe even the forklift topper would get a touch on it, or whatever that device is on top of Waddle Dee's car.
I think so, yeah. Excavator. Yeah.
Something. It's still not enough, whatever it is. Didn't get a handle on it. Now Edgecomb on the other side of the field looking to punish as they didn't get that shot to go. But the defense standing up for NC Cyber. It's enough. But is it going to be more than enough to push them for their first goal halfway through this game and still scoreless until banger of a shot from Spirals? But it won't hit the mark either. How long will we suffer with a scoreless game?
Oof. Well, we had a scoreless game that went a decent amount of time before, and, well, it did end up in the higher-seeded team getting the victory in the end that we saw in that first matchup for Garinger. So we'll see if that continues this case for Edgecomb EC. They are vying for an opportunity. Spirals, W-A, Jedge. I don't know exactly how to say that. GEDJ. And then SHX. WNNN. I feel like these players might have hit their keyboard and then said, that's my username.
Yeah, well, listen, I used to be Spyro the Bear, so I'm never going to make the mistake of calling out player names and saying that they could be better. I've been there, done that. I'm just gonna go Sean and Wajej. That's mine. That's
Sean, that is definitely what that is. Okay, Sean, yeah, I keep forgetting the X is an A. We see that with Dark too. It's interesting.
It is. Interesting is the perfect word to describe it, as it always is. But we're still scoreless, which baffles me. Waddle Dee not able to connect on that touch, but Mocha Dark again playing their role exceptionally well. I am not a fan of an all-time goalie, but if I ever am to become one, it is watching Mocha Dark, because the clears that they make are very powerful and at times will enable Dark to make plays like this, air dribble down the field, and the saves just barely made off their own post. Wajed brings it down to the other side, but that's going to be saved as well, and the defenses just stand taller than the attacks thus far.
Wait, is that Wage DJ? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Oh,
Either way.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, Wage DJ. That's what I'm going with instead of Watch Edge. Because it's easier to say. Nonetheless, though, 30 seconds now for either team to get a goal, or we have our first overtime situation in the qualifying matches for the day. We did have Waddle D try to excavate a goal out for their team, but unfortunately the defense did that instead. The topper did not work in their favor, didn't give them enough, but this was enough for Wage DJ or Waj Edge, however you want to say it, getting it through, and the edge over the competition from Edgecomb.
Ah, there it is. They put the edge in Edgecomb. They will get just the finest margin above NC Cyber. However, as it taken so long to score, maybe Cyber only need 10 seconds. It'll be the greatest whiplash in Rocket League history if they can turn this around for the equalizer and force us to overtime. Dark's going to do their best to do just that. It's a dunk. It's towards the net. Spiral's just in position to save it. Dark does their best to keep the ball alive, but can't stay under it. And there you have it. The game one is going to be the victory for Edgecomb.
I like the turtle in their logo. Just an aside there for a second. But
that's the most aggressive turtle I think I've ever seen.
You could say it's edgy.
Nonetheless,
though, we do have that first goal scored by Edgecomb, and that was all that was needed. I talked about it. What happened last time? The #1 seeded team in the matchup was able to get the goal at the end and the victory when it was that close. So we see it happen here again. Experience pays the bills, or really just not having to play yesterday pays the bills for those games that we've seen be so close. But we have the other series on our hand as well, so let's take a look on how things are going. A little bit better, but it's also just started, and as I say that, well, Grassy will score.
You just had to say something.
Yep.
Oh, that was a ceiling pinch pass to Grassy, and a ripper to the top corner. Hold on, we really just dove into, like, the clip of the day.
Wow. That was beautiful, and that's what I like to see from these players here, but still not enough for Mallard Creek to defend, and that should have been a goal from AMM, but it was not early enough for them. So instead, maybe it was in the PM instead for them. But nonetheless, Nutella doing so much work that we saw in that last game. I'm curious on how many goals they're going to get this time, because I think what they had, like 4 or 5 for their team.
Talking about JT Williams in game one?
Indeed.
That was 11.
No, for Nutella specifically, though. I think it was like 4 or 5.
Oh, I'm like, hold on. They scored way more than 5 or 6. Sounds about right. The only thing I remember was you saying that everyone has a hat trick, and that I would believe, as it could be the case again for this game number 2. They have 2 in the first minute on pace to score 10, and that would be enough. Grassy having scored the first 2. What I wanted to make note of is the fact that you said adding a Lightning McQueen to the pitch would not help. It was a curse. And one of the last matches you saw, but this time, I mean, you might as well change anything for Mallard Creek.
That is exactly what we are seeing for Mallard Creek. And maybe the story of the hero Lightning McQueen throwing Kachow will be enough for them to bring things back from the brink, but fortunately, there's a bit of disruption there from KSM Predator, as we did see 2 players going for the same ball, and not exactly what you want to witness with the discombobulation that's happening to the defense of Mallard Creek throughout this series.
Yeah, coordination's lacking just a little bit, but how about the Sav? I mean, still lunging for these shot opportunities. It's admirable, I would say it to say the least, as JT Williams, they do get in those small moments of, okay, I forced a lot on the attack earlier. You know, we've seen Grassy and Seba Nutella pre-jumping each other. And there are those moments for Mallard Creek to punish that, as Ev makes a great save there, but yet another double commit will extinguish that counter opportunity for Mallard Creek. But moments like these on the counterattack, this is where Mallard Creek, I think, need to take their best advantage they can, as those are the only moments where JT Williams have shown vulnerabilities.
What I'm noticing too here from Mallard Creek, oh, another great shot right behind them from AMM, finally getting on the board this time for their team. What I'm also noticing too, after these double commits, and there's another one, is that they just aren't feeling confident to go for the challenges. They're also getting boost starved by JT Williams on their own side, so it's been difficult for Mallard Creek to even find their footing afterwards because they're tripping over each other and then they don't have the resources to get out of the side. As you see, Grassy picks the boost, goes for a sidewall challenge, baits out the defense. Nutella gets the goal afterwards because these players and JT Williams are having to use so much boost to go for these high-flying plays.
It's a lot of resources to expend here, and it's leaving nothing for Mallard Creek to utilize and help themselves for. And that Lightning McQueen looks a little too happy given the scoreboard scenario that we have at this moment. However, Dab the Sav will manage to get that corner boost, as apparently if their own boosts aren't available, maybe they can take their opponents. Wrapping around here is Ev as Predator. Can't get a touch of the ball. Here comes AM. Can't get that touch. Now it's Nutella off the demolition. One defender to beat. It's a shot, but it's Dab the Sav back in time to make the save.
Ooh, doing everything that they can to try and push this forward. And oh, so close for another goal for JT Williams. Mallard Creek, again, holding on as best they can, but still not enough. Two defenders went up for that one. And Seven Nutella still waiting patiently for the right time to strike. And even if there are defenders, that's not going to stop them from scoring.
No. If anything, it's going to motivate them to score more, I think. It's like, oh, I can be two this time. Yes, please. And that was off of a long offensive possession as well. I mean, kudos to Mallard Creek because they had to make a plenty amount of saves to make that possession outlast as long as it did that time around. Unfortunately for Mallard Creek, JT Williams do discover a save against a great shot from Mallard Creek, and of course, immediately punish them.
Oof. Great touch by Gassy. Perfect tee up, I guess you could say, as it goes straight through. And everyone just having a field day for JT Williams in this game specifically to do what is necessary for the potential 3-0 sweep victory for JT Williams. They dropped a game earlier on in their specific group. Now they don't want to drop a single one in this matchup against Mallard Creek A. And I guess you could say it's hunting season for them.
It is hunting season. My family's literally on their hunting weekend right now, and on the East Coast, and here I am on the West Coast. But at least I get to call the Rocket League, actually. At least we get to see these players, these teams qualify for regional spot, and a lot of eyes are going to be on JT Williams to do that, but Dab the Sav, there we go. Lightning McQueen does get their goal after all.
Oof. Right over top, there goes the goal. The first one we have seen for the side of Mallard Creek A, where JT Williams were as dominant as could be in the last one, but Dab the Sav goes ka-chow and takes a sunny vacation to Brazil land for the side of Mallard Creek. With 1 minute remaining, there's chances for more goals, but is it going to do much for them? Well, the goals are going to go the other direction yet again.
Yeah, Dab the Sav getting dunked on this save attempt, and I guess back to Brazil they go after that goal explosion is not going to be in their favor. Granted, we are ready for the next series, as it seems JT Williams will take this game to victory. We can have a look instead at the beginning of game 2 between Edgecomb and NC Cyber. Vaudable, we waited until 12 seconds remaining until the first goal was scored in game number 1. Is it gonna be that long of a wait this time as well?
I hope not, for NC Cyber's sake specifically, because again, they were struggling to get some shots on here and there. Edgecomb were looking really good stat-wise and was doing everything necessary to get the victory towards the end of that game specifically. So for NC Cyber, if they want to get this, they need to get a goal early and hold on to that lead as best they can in the vice grip so that they can't let go. But what a pinch on the way to the other side. If only someone was in position for the finish. I don't think anyone expected that big of a boomer come out of the orange half.
Yeah, it could take you by surprise, as it looked like Wage DJ was trying to fake their way into a shot. Spirals has to quickly react on the other side of the field in order to make that save. And Dark now has a lot of opportunities set up here with the aerial try. Tons of boost, fakes, and goes under. And there's the first goal for NC Cyber of the series. It took Dark getting all this positioning to beat 3 defenders on a sidewall play. But if that's what it takes, Cyber will take it every time.
There we go. NC Cyber took the shot that was necessary for them to get on the board early against Edgecomb EC. But we will see what they can do from here on out to hold on to this lead, strengthen it as best as they can. We've seen the potential of this team and how close it was in that last game. How much closer this series is compared to the previous one we were just watching. Nonetheless, Wage DJ, Waj Edge gets it through, ties it up 1-1 pretty quickly.
There you go. Swift response was needed here from Edgecomb, as they've been averaging just a goal per game. So they're going to want to get that as early as possible here. They do manage to do here, as with 3 minutes remaining, the next face-off will occur. We're at that half-court line. Dark picks up boost, and this is a scary situation at all times. Spirals to beat, goes for the bump play, and Wage DJ. Incredible work to bail out their bumped teammate and get that ball off the track.
Almost into the heavens again on the side of NC Cyber 2, but now is a counterattack potential. A demo comes out onto Dark, though, as they are eliminated from the chance to get that goal for the lead yet again for NC Cyber. Dangerous bounce in front of the net from Edgecomb to try desperately to get 2 in a row for their team for the victory. 2 games in a row as well. They want to close this out before a potential Game 5 scenario, which is very likely based on the way these two teams are playing so hotly contested with each other. Maybe some fakes here and there, but no bait being taken by NC Cyber. They're not hungry for the fish food that was just dangling right in front of their net.
Nah, instead, they're waiting for the big treasure chest below to get that jackpot of a goal and steal away victory from their opposition. But as things kind of see tied up at the midfield, nobody getting the touch they want. It's anyone's ball at this point. Edgecomb getting possession for a moment. Spirals unfortunately hits it backwards. Dark wants to take advantage. Double tap ready. The vertical angle just not enough for Dark. They've set up these really low percentage plays for themselves, which at times are required when they have more than one defender to beat, but sometimes it's just too much to chew, too much of a bite to chew off, and it realizes there's just going to be a punishment available for Sean.
There we go. Great block, great finish, and great execution here for Sean to get the lead again for Edgecomb EC. Took a while in game 1 for them to get it, but the 1 goal was all that was necessary. Now they got it here with a minute 16 remaining. 2 in a row, uninterrupted for Edgecomb EC. The most amount of goals we have also seen either team get so far in this series. As Dark into the center, onto the other side, looking for anything with this 1 minute left on the clock, as NC Cyber, they know their chances of pulling off a reverse sweep dwindling down if they can't at least get a game, because it's going to be so much more difficult to come back from that big of a deficit, and they might just have to do that down by 2 here.
This is one of those goals that you can almost forecast happening a lot of the time if Dark is chasing the ball. It's just Waddle D and Mocha Dark holding the goal line, not really following the play enough to make saves like that. So if there's going to be able to be that facilitation of putting the ball in front of the goal, so many players of Edgecomb are capable of putting that shot hard and on target. So it's a great goal for Edgecomb to continue to work in the balanced format that they do. That said, 30 seconds left. NC Cyber, if they can get this ball on the other side of the field, there's technically still time to bring this one back.
That time is dwindling down, Pyro. Less than 20 seconds to go. 2 goals, needed 1 at least every 10 seconds, and it's not even in their clutches. It's out of their hands at this point in time, and out of time as well. Unfortunately for them, they don't have the time variance authority to pause things for them. You're like Loki. Nonetheless, off the backboard it goes, hits the ground, and Edgecomb will reset the timeline in their favor.
Great response here from Edgecomb. They had been scored off a wonderful solo play from Dark. And just when things looked to turn into a momentous performance from NC Cyber, they turned it right back on their heads. The Turtles were knocked off their shells and back on their feet and just kind of trudged forward. So we've got 2 match point scenarios here in this format here. And it's just looking better and better for both teams. I wonder what we've got, though, on the way of JT Williams, as we'll check that out soon, Vaudable. But how do you think here? We've only seen 1 Game 4 out of these qualifier plays. Do we have a chance at seeing that still with these 2 matches?
It's possible, but I don't know if it's going to happen because the confidence we have seen from the top-seeded teams is just been on another level for the most part. I think it's possible for some of these teams who we're in the same groups as the teams that they're facing off against, but the teams that have that experience and might have came from the same group having to face off against that team again, it's going to be a hard-fought battle for those squads to try and overcome the odds that they couldn't even do in the group stages. Again, best of 5 is a bit different from best of 3s, but even then we see the difference in skill level. We see the coordination is also unlocked for these top teams, and there's a reason why they topped out their groups and won all those matches back to back to back, to not even drop a single series till this point.
There's good reason for it. There's good reason for it. I will say, though, the way we got Game 4 was a comeback in Game 3 from the underdog. So I might be looking out for the switcheroo here against Edgecomb to maybe see the Dark Masterclass bring it back. And the Mocha Dark really holding down the goal line. And, of course, Waddle D just doing work on the field. Whatever's necessary for the excavator holder to land some touches and put NC Cyber in a position where they can get a win. We are straight into Game 3. We're sticking with Edgecomb and NC Cyber for game number 3.
We kind of know how that other series is going, and that's why we're going straight into Game 3 here between Edgecomb and NC Cyber instead, because this is the more hotly contested matchup. The other one, we could kind of guess that JT Williams are dominating the competition there, pretty much over at that point in time. So we'll see as we get more results in the background for the rest of that series. But Edgecomb, EC, and NC Cyber, I mean, the biggest difference between them and Edgecomb, not enough shots. They've been stuck on their side a little bit more than the other team, even though it's been pretty close back and forth between these two squads. Excuse me, Pyro.
Oh, yeah, you're right, back and forth. I think Dark was hoping to go back and forth off the backboard with the ball, as they almost got the chance they were looking for that shot. But Edgecomb smart on their defensive performance by holding the backboard accountable and making sure that it's not free real estate for Dark, but smart as well on the attack. I mean, look at them going in through the goal line for demolitions to clear out those defenders and also try to get their shots at a high elevated point away from those goal line defenders. But if you can't get under the crossbar, if you can't get it between the posts, you are not going to tack on a tally for that side of the scoreboard. Dark close to doing that on that case.
Now it goes the other direction yet again for NC Cyber. They have to focus on defense, and defense has been a struggle for them a couple of times, especially with those crazy passing plays that came out. But this is the time to strike. They need to go for the counterattack, but nobody has really much boost in the tank to work with. Dark has something. Let's get the flick over, but nobody worth the follow-up either. When these chances come to them, they need to have somebody there to finish things. Otherwise, it's going to go by the wayside like it's gone so many times for NC Cyber.
Yeah, and listen, it's like, yes, it goes by the wayside on the first attempt, but I just want to see a follow-up. I want to see a solid follow-up chance for maybe it's Waddle D to get contact with the ball to get the second shot in, or Dark's able to rotate around for yet another goal, or Mocha Dark comes out from the goal line and makes a shot themselves. I've seen those moments. I've seen them happen where Mocha Dark gets some confidence to move out on the attack side. But for the most part, it's Dark who takes away defenders, but there's just no one to complete the equation afterwards. So not enough factors in store yet for NC Cyber's attack to get elevated, but Mocha Dark able to make yet another save. Listen, if they play defense that whole time, you know they're going to be good at it.
Good touches here from Spirals, looking for something as well, but still not enough for their team to get that first goal. And it seems like we're just going to be biting our nails this entire series, Pyro. Even if it's just a 3-0 sweep, that's not the story at all of how things have been going between these two teams. They are leaving it all out on the field, waiting for their time to strike, and really just minuscule chances that have happened here and there that lead to one team winning over the other. Edgecomb really just more shots than NC Cyber that have had them be on target, and NC Cyber just overwhelmed a couple of times in these last few games, as we're seeing almost happen here. But it's got to come down to some sort of counterattack. They don't have much boost to work with either, and that boost starvation might be the name of the game for Edgecomb to win.
Keep those resources out of the pockets of your opponents, and you'll see the range of the field start to expand. You'll see the midfield start to really open up, where you can take shots that you hope fire on target. That one's yet another one that goes too high for Edgecomb, where every shot seems to have the power behind it, but just not the accuracy, just not low enough to meet the back of the net. It's going to be Sean this time to try and set it upfield. Dark sees that play coming, instantaneously rises to it, and challenges the ball. Now, are they in position to take a shot and strip Wage DJ of the ball? Not quite. Waddle D makes contact and kicks it over to the side for Sparkles to take up off the ceiling shot there, and it's in! What a play for Spirals to get around for that shot.
Beautiful look from Spirals on that play. They've been looking for some openings left and right and center, and they finally found one somehow between both defenders at that point in time. 38 seconds might be all we need for Edgecomb to take the victory in this series and book their ticket into the regionals. NC Cyber, though, it's not over until it's over. Well, it might be now with Spirals, 2 back-to-back.
Hey, when you're heating up, you gotta feed the beast, okay? Let him fire away on all cylinders. That one right between Dark and the post. And Dark's kind of had this target on their back all this game, right? It should not be motivating for Edgecomb when Dark's there in the net ready to meet your shot, but really I think it is encouraging for these players because they want to defeat that player, to ultimately defeat NC Cyber. Holding this lead, they will do just that. They will qualify for the VESL Season 2 Regional LAN. Single digits on the clock. Spirals up again. Double tap there, but deflected by Dark. That may be the final statement we see, though, from NC Cyber as the ball has reached the ground and Edgecomb officially make their way to the regional lands of VESL Season 2.
That it is, as we do see Edgecomb get the victory, and 9 shots ruled the day for them. What a finish from that team. The pressure proved to be too much for NC Cyber Academy, but kudos to them for giving it their all throughout the entire series, Pyro. Even though it was a 3-0 victory for Edgecomb EC, that is the closest we have had a Series B so far today, even though we've had a series with a team lose a game, it feels like.
Yeah, no, we've seen a game 4, and this still was a barn burner the whole way through. So I think kudos are earned here for NC Cyber. It is a very rare format for a team and a strategy for them to partake in, where you have a clear front runner of Dark and Waddle D and Mocha Dark playing their positions as well. But it worked for them to reach the grand finals of the qualifiers all throughout this week. So a tip of the cap to them. However, it is the last we'll see from them, of course, for these North Carolina regional lands. We are excited to see more out of Edgecomb. 3 players that make a balanced team, and a damaging one at that for anyone that they'll end up playing here. For these regionals, we have to find out, though, folks. Myself, Pyro J, and Vaudable by my side. The other teams that make it to those regional lands. We've got more grand final qualifier matches for VESL Season 2 coming up after this break. Welcome right back in, everybody. My name is Power Jam here with Vaudable, and we are continuing with these grand finals qualifier matches of the VESL Season 2. We've been rocking these group stages, brackets all week long for 90-plus high school teams in North Carolina, all the way to get to these matches right here. Best of fives to dictate who moves on to those regional lands. Vaudable, we've sent a lot of teams to those lands, but still some teams we've got to decide if they've got the chops to make it.
And those teams that we're about to see are the teams of Rocky River A and Lincoln Charter. But our first match is going to be Kell A versus East Mech. They're facing off against each other in their specific matches. Then their last two ones of the night after that, Sun Valley versus EE Smith A and Gaston EC or Gaston versus CEEC, as we have Kell here versus East Mech. Curious how this 2v3 team is going to do, because we've seen East Mech be a duo the entire way to make it here. So solid performances from them across the board. But will this be where their run ends?
Here's the thing, the last 2v3 did not work out. But here's the other thing. Simon is him. So
he is him.
If he's him, I don't know what can stop him other than, of course, open nets suck on the shot. Simon was there to challenge, but in all fairness, was beat on that play.
I'm loving the names on both of these teams. Barris, Pickle Peyton, and Open Net Suck versus Remember XVR and Simeon, actually, instead of Simon, I guess.
Thank you.
Is him on that play. But as you can see, Kell, I mean, this is a really good team. We talked about going into this matchup that they are one of the better ones out there, and this is exactly why, because the synergy we have seen for these players, it might have been enough for East Mech to overcome some of those other squads who weren't as strong in their groups, but with this one, it's really tough to see how things are going. We got an update as well in the background. New Bern High B is about to reverse sweep Southwest Edgecomb High Team A. 54 seconds left in Game 5. So, whoa, crazy stuff going on.
I mean, New Bern, you heard me say it earlier, Vaudable. Their A and their B team are both solid.
True.
I could see them both going to the regional lands. So that is tough for Edgecomb High Team A, though. You never want to be the A team and just miss out on that spot. So we'll make sure to keep everyone updated on that match. But for this one, the A team of Kell continues to beat away East Mech. East Mech having a difficult time moving out of their own half. Pickle Paytoon looking for their teammate, but can't quite find it. Remember, XVR able to intercept and cut off that passing lane. Being a visionary here on the match for East Mech is going to be important if they can cut off more passing lanes, if they can really download the script of Kell. They might break away with some of these counter opportunities. That one falling just to the right of the net.
So close, yet so far. And the big thing I noticed yesterday when looking at East Mech, because I got a chance to look at this duo, is that they were better when it came to positioning than we saw the other duo squad, where they would usually just send one up, have the other player be at the back. Unless it's a counterattack situation, then they would go full out, sending everything forward necessary for the victory. And hey, this is why. Remember, XVR is the one you want to remember, because they were the one who was scoring the most goals for their team.
Well, consider it committed to memory at this point, because that was a great heads-up play. I can see exactly what you mean, where on how some counters, yeah, you want to put two up there if you need the goal, but it's very clear that Remember XVR is able to produce those productive opportunities with efficiency. So very, very nice there from Remember XVR, who continues to play up as Simeon is playing back, making sure the saves can occur. This one will not. Barris will roar.
Bears down on the competition this time, and they can't really overcome the weight of the champions that are here to play from their group stage into this matchup. Kell are looking very clean so far, even after the pressure they faced from that one goal scored by Remember XVR. But the kickoffs is definitely one thing to note for East Mech, that they are pretty mechanical about it. But when they get counterattacked like that, 3v1 situation, there's not much they can do about it.
It's about really taking advantage of the chaos, and kickoffs are the greatest example of that. But when it doesn't work out in their favor, you can see how it turns right against them immediately. Kell, I mean, they're just complimenting each other. right now in the quick chat, you know, they're excited about what's going on here. They have one step before making the regional land, before making their high school proud, and they're already off to a great start. So keeping that chemistry flowing, making sure all the neurons are firing here with the neural network of this team from Arrey Kell is important. They are looking good thus far, and 2 minutes to secure this first win of the best of 5.
Crazy look so far from Arrey Kell and the confidence out of these players, but even with that, Mech still have all the energy and ferocity you would want to see from a team of 3 that is being exhibited by a team of 2. We also have an update that reverse sweep completed. It happened. New Bern High B and their A team potentially making it all the way into that main event. Well, Arrey Kell A team looking to make things clean into the next game of this best of 5.
I feel like that's like such an important thing to note, the reverse sweep occurring by the B team. I mean, it kind of injects this mysterious aura into this match here of, yeah, there's good reason to feel confident about Arrey Kell. 3 great players, 5-1 lead in game number 1 in a 3v2. But maybe the upset is looming. Maybe it's not until game 3 that we witness the uprising of Mech, that they've kind of figured out the flow of a 2v3 and how to combat Arrey Kell. I wouldn't take it out of the realm of possibility.
One thing to note too, now I'm looking at the actual Wikipedia page with the brackets and everything. New Bern High Team A didn't win their series. They lost to Havelock High Team A in a 3-0 sweep. So all New Bern's hopes and dreams on this B team. That is also the only team, technically, who made it through the qualifying matches yesterday into today to win. All the other winners so far have been the ones who topped their groups, apart from a forfeit that we had in one of the matchups.
That is so interesting. I mean, I don't know what the high school talk of the town is going to be like there while the B team's going to the regional land and the A team's like, you know, hey, good luck. We'll be there to support you, I guess, and maybe sub in. Hey, who knows? It sounds like they earned their spot. But as we continue to watch with a very close eye this match and how, of course, Arrey Kell are winning game number 1, we have to note that Mech, they've earned their second goal. So what I was talking about earlier with this team starting to figure out how to pull off maybe that reverse sweep, every goal is an indication that they're getting closer to that.
That it is an Mech. They are known to be a team to not go down without a fight from what we have witnessed yesterday. I mean, I got really close in some of those games between them and the rest of the competition, but they are here to play as long as they can today and to see how far they can go from then on out. And I'm excited to see exactly how far they can go, but also how our other match is going to be going in just a little bit too. Rocky River A versus Lincoln Charter that we have too in just a second. But some great matches so far today. Mech doing all that they can, but just not enough in this game. 3-goal deficit, but they still put up a solid fight for the most part.
Yeah, so we'll continue to watch this narrative of Mech in the 2v3 and how they can start to work against Arrey Kell's A team, because I think it's a match that we have to keep a watchful eye on. And one thing that has produced the belief that they can do this is check out those 4 saves. You know, that's almost half of the shots combated well by Mech with only 2 defenders. There's 2 layers to the defense, but a lot of times on possessions, 2 layers can be enough, so long as they're getting boost and getting back in position. So if they can make more saves and combat the strong attack of Arrey Kell, it's possible.
Well, let's see what happens in this next matchup that we're talking about. Rocky River facing off against Lincoln Charter in this one. Both these 2 teams looking to see how far they can go. I got to see Lincoln Charter yesterday, and they're doing pretty decent for themselves. Cheesy at Starbucks Tea, mainly Starbucks Tea really, scored the majority of the goals there. Spot of Weird was trying to find their positioning at best for their team. So curious how that school is going to do today.
I'll be honest, Lincoln Charter, they need to exceed my expectations because I had witnessed them and they seemed like a good team, But Rocky River seemed better than just a great team. This team performed exceptionally and were running amok on the field no matter who they combated. So this time around, they're going to set that tone exactly here with the first goal. Omen able to find a cheeky angle to split through the uprights.
As you mentioned, Rocky River have been looking good so far, and Lincoln Charter, they kind of struggled a little bit to even get to this point in time in the bracket from yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see because they had to take down the Philip O'Berry Academy B team, I believe it was, and it was 3-1. It wasn't even a 3-0 sweep for them to get that one. And all the games very close in that series between those two teams. So Lincoln Charter, talked about it, work cut out for them. I think they have potential to do it, but so far, just a 1-goal differential. They have all the time on their hands to get that tied up.
That's true.
Unless there is an opening here.
No, you're absolutely right. Time's in their favor, and the deficit is already so short. However, look at Victor. I mean, that just exudes confidence, having to work backwards and flip in that manner to try and get the crazy angle on the shot. Rocky River, they're not afraid to take risks for these big shots. And ID Faye, so close to getting bar down. Omen with the follow-up. Cheesy gets a save, and Starbucks T searching for an exit. It gets closed off so quickly. Rocky River not going to let up on this possession, not anytime soon, as ID Faye gets for the double tap.
What a beautiful double tap, too, by ID Faye, but that was all orchestrated by a mistake from Starbucks T. Unfortunately, the order did not get inputted correctly when they were trying to hit the ball, and they had to return it back to where it came from on the production line. As Rocky River have not been on a rocky start at all. They've just been fording the river as best as they can. And it seems like they're just going whitewater rafting for fun at this point in time. 3-0 before the halfway point.
I mean, it looks like fun, you know? We saw that double tap from ID Faye. It didn't just not hit the ground. It also ran right under the crossbar. And Victor as well, working those air rolls, doing those spinny tactics just to get to the ball for that goal. So Rocky River enjoying their splurge of momentum and goals, and it just continues. We spoke about kickoff goals earlier. Well, they're becoming a narrative once again in favor for Rocky River.
Still not even at the halfway point, too. Lincoln Charter, it's going to be a pep talk and then some that is needed between games at this point. Down by 4, missing the kickoff, too. A little bit of a fake out, but it worked in their favor for a second. If they hit it towards the right side, it would have been a goal. Unfortunately, directly into that defender. Panicked when it came to time to shine for Lincoln Charter, and that's what happens to a lot of these teams who might not be as experienced in these tough matchups against the top dogs that are out there. Lincoln Charter had to fight through thick and thin in their other series to get to this point in time, whereas Rocky River, I mean, they topped their group for a reason.
Yeah, and the reasons keep piling on. There's too many to count at this point, and I feel like we'll have to, you know, I don't know, grow some extra hands to count them on our fingers, because we've seen double taps, we've seen flip resets, we've seen the passing plays all come to form for Rocky River. What more can we witness here? Maybe an individual play from Victor as they side flip away from the ball. Cheesy with an opportunity and forces ID Faye to make the brief save. Starbucks T follows up, and oh man, awkward with their teammate here, lunging for the shot with Starbucks T, but ID Faye comes to it in enough time. Victor on the clear, and ID Faye to sort out to the side wall. So Rocky River, though there are some stepping over each other's toes, they're really quick to get back in order and make sure their net is safe.
Might be a chance here for Lincoln Charter to break out too, because Cheesy, I was talking about before, the one to really look out for on offense to set things up for Starbucks T. But Starbucks T seems to be a little off when it comes to the pressure that they are facing so many times throughout this game. ID Faye with yet another goal, a hat trick for their team too. Just more and more cementing the lead for Rocky River. And once we get past a certain point, I know people might want us like in the chat to be like, oh, this goal was amazing and all this stuff. One team has such a monumental lead that it's less about the goals, it's more about that they're getting them and strengthening their lead and their confidence going into the next games than how exactly they scored those goals here.
Yeah, the scoreboard gets to be the whole story at a certain point. But at the same time, I'm sure Rocky River, knowing that they're on stream, get to pop off for anyone that's watching. Could be the friends, could be their family, could be, the future viewers of the clips that they take later on. They want to pop off with any kind of play, no matter what point in the game it is. So can't really deny them.
Can't fault them there, yeah.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You can't fault them. Exactly. So with 30 seconds left, they're going to look to pop off for the final part of this game. It's Victor almost to Omen on that midfield pass. ID face still able to follow. Spawn of Weird has to make a save here and is able to come away with the block. Starbucks T. It might be a boost and ball situation, but it's boost over ball as Omen steals it away.
Ooh.
Both shot takers there for Rocky River, but the chaos is enough to just get that goal through.
I mean, the big thing here we were talking about today, Pyro, is that for the most part, majority of games have not been really mechanical differences. It just came down to synergy and the elevation of competition, as the teams who came from yesterday into today weren't as prepared as they could have been when it comes to teamwork and all that. For this, really, Spawn of Weird, I hate to say it, a little bit behind when it comes to the rotations for this team for Lincoln Charter, but hey, Cheesy, last second goal. Nice to see them get some momentum going forward, and I talked about them to be the player to look out for on this team, and, well, the defense wasn't looking out well enough for that one.
Not quite. Not quite. And Lincoln Charter, they'll take that for what it's worth. They cannot say when they look at the score sheets that they got shut out here in game number one. That's what that goal is worth there. Potential for a second here as Cheesy looks to stay under it, but it'll be struck right to the ground. Rocky River A, they're here for business, not pleasure, as they take game one efficiently.
A bird fight of epic proportions, as you can see in their logos, but the Ravens seem to be the ones that are doing the most damage, especially with 14 shots. My goodness, on the board, more than double the ball touches, and even with all the saves that came out from Lincoln Charter, still so many goals, and it's just a tough opponent to face off against in this round for Lincoln Charter. You talked about it, you wish them the best of luck, but Rocky River Ravens, Triple R, doing all that is necessary for this, like a blockbuster performance in a Netflix special.
Yeah, one that Lincoln Charter I don't think is going to want to watch back. Because here's the case, too. Like, for Lincoln Charter, I think almost any team that ended up against Rocky River was going to have a really tough time advancing. So it's kind of like you take a gamble on how these brackets are going to work out. And, yeah, you made it as far as you could. But at the end of the day, if you didn't perform well enough in your group stage, you have the chance of playing a team like this. So Rocky River's A team making short work of that game number one, but we'll take it to game number two. Back with Arrey, Kell, and East Mech. Arrey, Kell taking their third goal here. Ooh. They could be well on their way to getting another win, in which I want to say it was 5-2, something to 2 game
something
one.
Like that, yeah, around that number or so. But either way, East Mech did what they could in that game. Demos, when it's a 2v3, that much more deadly and devastating. Like, there's nothing you could really do about it because you're taken off the field. Then you only have one member to really do anything. And if they're not in the right position at the right time, guaranteed goal for the other side. And I think that might be why we already have 3 goals in the favor of Arrey Kell with the way that they are performing, making it that much of a harder challenge for East Mech to get on the board themselves. So interesting stuff so far. Open net suck looking for whatever they can really do here off the sidewall and doing everything possible. But anyway, East Mech, the big thing is a good shot on the board might be all they need, but it just was not enough into upper 90.
God, it really rung out the wrong way, huh? You're hoping for the friendly roll, as they say in basketball, to happen there in Rocket League, but the posts say no. Also saying no is both players for the roll 1 situation. I would say especially East Mech. They do not. 2v3 is bad. 1v2, not where you want to be. So in fairness, that roll 1's not going to be solidified. I'm not going to say broken, but broken up are the offensive for East Mech. Those players are taken out of the equation until Simeon moves back in position. Thought they'd steal boost, but instead went for the flick and the shot as it's taken away yet again. Pickle Paytoon! The goal is more or less stolen / secured by Barris, but And these players, RJ Kell, love working off the ceiling.
That they do. Beautiful looks across the board. The higher you are flying, the harder it is for the other team to go against you, especially if they don't have the boost to work with that they were hoping for. So unlucky to say the least for East Mech. They got to make their own luck. Fate in their hands for the most part. They can just get this away from the other players that are playing keep away all day, every day throughout this series, passing it back and forth between each other. There's only just 2 different points that East Mech can use that to their advantage. Otherwise, the counterattack comes out and it's a wide open opportunity. The demo, again, makes it that much more difficult for East Mech to do anything. The bumps as well. Open net suck is making it difficult for East Mech to have any presence on the field at all.
Can't hate on the disruption tactics. The boost steals and the bumps are critical to keeping East Mech in an even worsened position than they already are with this 2v3. That said, East Mech, how can they maneuver themselves back across the other side of the field? They'll get a pinch there. They get some special momentum on the ball, and the ball's taken once again by, remember, XVR, and the ball's loose in front of the net. XVR, final touch to get their first goal.
Whew. Beautiful touch as well that we saw from them. Not the greatest defensive play we wanted to see from Bears, but East Mech will take that every day of the week, fake them out on that 1v1 play. And that just goes to show the skill of the East Mech team. How they'd be too powerful if they had 3 players. As another kickoff goal comes out here. Simeon is him on this play. All 3 players on Edgecomb went the wrong direction, away from the ball. Nobody committed for it.
You know, I feel like this is open nets suck strategy, because
yes,
upon his theory, Simeon would not be scoring, but it was truly the Uno reverse card that Simeon laid upon open net suck, which is that he's him, and he's not going to miss an open net. So well played for East Mech as they very quickly find 2. And if they do it enough in quick succession with the next 2, they can force an OT, especially punishing the mistakes there from RJ Kell.
Ooh, the bumps, the interesting flops that we're seeing in front of the net, disrupting enough for RJ Kell to somehow not secure that goal. There was an opportunity for them, and the demo was really what saved the day for East Mech on that play. But 30 seconds to go and 2 goals to overcome. We've seen East Mech consistently get 2 goals in each game so far, but no, they missed the touch, they missed the connection, and there's open net suck, I think, playing for the other team now.
I mean, fair enough, you know, they're down a player, and sometimes you gotta help them out, but hey, here's the truth, that wherever open net suck plays on the field, the win is secured for RJ Kell's A team. Game number 2 gonna be in their favor against the 2 of East Mech.
Very likely to be the way that game at number 3 goes as well, but we still see the way things have been happening so far between these 2 games, as really the top teams have been showcasing the dominance, with RJ Kell and the Rocky River Ravens just being that much better than the rest that are out there. And goes to show why these teams topped their groups, went undefeated, maybe dropped a game or 2 here or there, but that's about all they can worry about, because they were that good going into this, and they are just like, we still got it.
Still got it. They still got it. Listen, that momentum that they're pushing forward in this tournament has sorted out for them to get to match point here. So it's impressive. They're taking that one step closer to getting to the regional lands, which, if we want to talk about it for a moment,
let's
here,
talk about
Vaudable, yeah, the regional lands are something to get excited about. It's November now. In 2 months' time, January, some single elimination regionals are going to be happening in the 3 different spots of North Carolina: Greensboro, Charlotte, and Wilmington. So those are the big games, the big tournaments that these teams are playing to attend and compete in, after all.
Also, an update on the Rocky River game. They won game 2, 2-0. So a lot closer of a game than the one that we had before. I think they were maybe also trying to take a step back realizing the strat is if you score less goals, the game takes less time, and then you don't have to be on the field as long as you typically do. So, but yeah, State's also going to be in February, so that's going to be a great time too. We also have the Madden tournament for VESL starting next week with a special guest from the Panthers. What? That's cool.
Ooh. Okay, so you'll see me in North Carolina in February is what I'm hearing. Yeah, special guest for the States tournaments in February. I mean, that is going to be something that's truly special. And you can tell why there's a lot of hype, why there's a lot of talk about this VESL Season 2 tournament. They're putting in all the work to make these tournaments exciting for the players, for the fans, for everybody that's into esports at the high school level in North Carolina and beyond, honestly. But it's time to get excited for this final game. Vaudeville Rocky River on their match.
Ooh, the battle
point,
bus.
and Victor, yes, is showing their, I guess, Epic Games support with the double tap in the battle bus. Choo-choo.
Whew. Love to see it from Victor, battle busing their way to victory. OG Fortnite is back, and so is the OG battle bus in the game here. We might even see Rocket League in Fortnite at some point with Rocket League Racing League potentially coming out. So like there's so much crossovers that are happening in this game and potentially in the future. It's always interesting because again, VESL started with the Fortnite regionals or the qualifiers that were happening earlier. I think it was last month as well. So, you know, VESL doing all the titles that are out there. If Rocket League isn't your thing, there's other stuff coming up too.
If we do see that Rocket League implementation, we see this Victor with the battle bus, I mean, is it going to be as tiny as it is here in Rocket League?
That's a good
the thing
question.
That surprised me so much was that the battle bus, when it came in, I was like, man, that's a long bus, but it is the shortest thing in this game of Rocket League. Yet, it's, I mean, handled very well here from Victor so far. Short, small, whatever you have for that hitbox. It was good enough for the double tap, and it's good enough here for a play for Rocky River.
Ooh, Rocky River looking for another opportunity for the battle bus. We got to think of like, what is the battle bus signature move in Rocket League? Like the kind of shot that a battle bus takes. Like what would be the name for that? Like the battle bus, it's not really a booster. I mean,
I'd love for it to be like a dump-off pass, you know, because they dump off all the players.
That's true.
At the beginning of the game, so like some kind of downwards pass, maybe like a waterfall or a undercarriage plop down to a teammate,
or the battle bus block. You know, they're like a good defender. They got all the surface area necessary. But hey, Omen got all the shots necessary to put this one on the net. And hey, we're just taking a longer look at the net for a second there. We were all stunned as that one went through all three defenders and was scored.
Yeah, there was a little more egg spectating than battle car playing on that last maneuver. But a goal is a goal in Rocky River. I mean, maybe they took a page out of the handbook from our last team, which was the 2-0 lead and the 2-0 win. Could be that way again for Rocky River. 2-0 in the series, 2-0 in the game, and looking to complete their qualifier run here.
What a save
for VESL's Rocky River. However, yeah, some hardship, some resistance from Lincoln Charter. They will not go quietly.
Oh, Jeezy, no! So I've done that so many times. The ball is like a weird floater. You aren't really expecting it. It's like a changeup happens in front of the net, using baseball terms, and it goes right past you when you flip into it. And you're like, what happened? Well, what happened was another goal was scored by Rocky River. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go for them to cement their victory, to make it to those regionals that are in January. We talked about them. Charlotte, Greensboro, and Wilmington. I'm curious on exactly which teams are going to be at each of those as well that make it through these qualifiers.
Rocky River.
Well, we know that. I mean, it's kind of a given at this point.
Seems to be one of those teams to me. Yeah, and well, the more important aspect of it is that because it's single elimination. when you get to these regional lands. So you have to pay attention to exactly who is going to be your opposition there, and if you can really win every game. I mean, that's why when you look at these matches, Rocky River, they're not going to mess around too much in these games, in these matches. They're going to ensure the fact that they get to win every single game, because when they get to the land, they've got to work their hardest every single game and maybe pop off as well. ID Faye, double flip reset, no problem.
1, 2, Toodaloo is all that they are saying to the other team. 4-0, minute and 11 seconds, battle bus on lock, but you know, they're dressed for success as well, using that suit and tie tuxedo decal that we see. Very gentlemanly on the side of Rocky River A, but beautiful performances across the board from all of these players. I like the Furia decal too, but 1 minute remaining on the clock here. Lincoln Charter are going to have to charter a bus back home after their game is done today with the way things have been going. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the battle bus, but instead a bus of sadness.
Oh, no. Tears are going to be flowing, and they've got to equip all their sad emotes on their characters, I guess, at this point, because the win is all but lost. Rocky River, a team when I very first saw them, it was a clear indication that they would be competing at regionals, and it was going to be a sorry state for whoever had to meet them in the qualifiers. They're going to run straight their way into the win. ID Faye on the double resets, Omen with our opener of a goal, and Victor sporting the battle bus, making sure every single play looks as stylish as the next. Yes, cheesy, even more stylish than your beautiful tuxedo. So there's a series. Rocky River advance to the regional lands of the VESL Season 2.
What a victory from them, to really just shutting down Lincoln Charter throughout that series. And Lincoln Charter, I mean, they did everything that they could. They had some solid looks. A lot of it just came down to mechanics at the end of the day, too. The big thing, Spawn of Weird, in between now and the next season, I would say, work on those training packs, get used to those typical rotations, and it's a lot easier to go for those saves when you're not parked in the net. So if you can do that, 100% improvement rate from the current performance, but still, nonetheless, great shot to make it all the way to the final qualification match here, because there's a lot of teams who didn't even get to this point in time. So gotta give a round of applause to those teams who made it here, didn't quite make it to those regionals in January. Now we're going to take a look at Kell versus East Mech. East Mech had to pull off a full reverse sweep. Only team left, I think, as well, that is a 2v3 squad in this bracket. So try to do it for the duos instead of the trios, and we'll see if they can do it, because they got 3 games to prove it.
I'll tell you what, they've got a lot to prove here.
Yep.
Kell, a heater of a first goal. But here's the other aspect of this series. When we called out that underdog story of the B team toppling the A team earlier, it was when we were watching this match right here. It was that special sauce of the underdog that was being discussed when we saw East Mech take the field against Kell A. They're going to be working to have that underdog story told under the title of East Mech as well. And they've got the chops to do it. Listen, remember XVR doesn't have Simeon on that play after the demolition, but what they did to save time so that their teammate could cut off that passing play was wonderful. They've improved so much to be able to work as a twosome in this game that it could very well be enough for at least a game victory.
That it could be enough for them. Just the 1 goal here for Kell. It's possible to overcome that for East Mech, especially what we've seen before. They've been consistent in getting 2 goals a game, so they need just that very quickly to get a lead against them. They haven't had a lead yet against Kell too, is a big thing to note. So if they can get that, much more confident than they have been before. Also noticing Pickle Paytoon going for a lot of these individual plays. You're seeing Kell not going for the passing plays that we typically saw before, and maybe playing with their food a little bit, but I respect it. You know, they've got the first 2 games. They don't need to go all out. They have the 1 goal lead too. They got to be careful about these counterattacks as well. Even open net suck, setting it up in front of their net dangerously. They knew they had the confidence to take that away.
That's right. And with the confidence comes no hesitation. and quick plays and quick challenges. And Arrey Kell continue the lunge at takes and challenges that they know that they can win against 2 defenders. So it's impressive to see. Look at the slow play here from Pickle Baytoon, trying to air dribble it all the way to the net even after having a passing option.
Ooh.
Barris needs no pass at all. This Doomsy dish straight to the net, works it well off the backboard.
There it goes. Great setup. And that's what we were missing, was some setups from this Arrey Kell team to strengthen their lead. Eventually, once they put the pedal to the metal, they were able to put their minds together and combine for that goal. It's always interesting, too, how the director cam, or the auto cam specifically, whenever it's on kickoff with just 3v2, just leans to the side a bit.
They're like...
A little Easter egg for those who might not have noticed.
Like, something isn't right, you know, turning their head in confusion. Right?
Where's that other one? Where's the rest of you?
Yeah, you know, East Mech, we're going to be asking that for the next season for VESL, because a third of you would have made for an incredible matchup here between yourselves and Arrey Kell. But here today, what we know to be true is that Arrey Kell A team, they weren't just focused on their qualifier run. I'm sure they can imagine themselves at their regional LAN. I'm sure they're starting to imagine it right now as they've broken away with their match point game. It's 3-0, and listen, the sky is beyond the limit that they can reach.
It really is, based on what we have witnessed so far. And we've also witnessed so many teams booking their ticket. Shout out to Barris for getting that goal there into those regionals. So talking about those teams, we have East Forsyth Team A, Wake Young Leadership Academy Team A and B, Noble Academy, Edgecomb Early College High, Wavelock High Team A, New Bern High Team B, Rocky River High School Team A, Garinger High School Team A, JT Williams Olympic High School Team A, Philip O'Berry Academy of Technology Team A, longest team name, and Monroe High, and now Arrey Kell Team A with this minute remaining, unless East Mech can get 4 goals.
That's right, 4 goals is going to be tough. I mean, we heard a lot of those teams that we had called to qualify already, such as Rocky River, Garinger, JT Williams, Edgecomb, etc. As Bear scores a 5th, further securing this win and the qualification to those regional lands. Hello. Look how excited we were about that 5th goal of Audible. But I was going to mention that there's some other teams that we didn't get to see, but we've started to talk about the qualify, such as New Bern High Team B, which is the only New Bern team that's going to make it, representing for the B team. Wake Young Leadership Academy sending both A and B teams.
True.
So it's exciting to see that, you know, when you see the B teams, you're like, oh, okay, well, it's good that they're fielding themselves, but, you know, we don't expect them to make it to the lands. Expect more, because that's 2 B teams so far that earned their qualification.
That it is. Unfortunately, the team that we were thinking might be able to make it with their B team, New Bern High, the A team, did not make it out of their group, but the B team was the one who got the reverse sweep to get it through there too. So we also have Gaston EC, who just qualified, which no surprise there. If you missed it yesterday, they were able to 16-0 their C team. So I mean,
oh dear,
or not yesterday, but the day before that during the qualifiers.
That's just cruel.
Yeah, it kind of is, but they didn't want to stop. They wanted to score all the goals and had the most goals ever. But East Mech, speaking of goals, able to get one on the board for them to be remembered by, because remember, XVR was the one to score it. Unfortunately, we're not able to keep up the consistency with 2 goals per game. There goes one almost in the back of the net as it does touch down, and all of the duos have been eliminated from the competition. We salute you. But Arrey Kell, they salute themselves as they're the ones with 14 shots, taking it all the way home, and another team booked into the regionals.
Listen, as a fan of 2v2, I will salute those 2 teams as well. And, you know, as someone who was in high school, on a more realistic note, like someone who was in high school who was involved in a lot beyond the studies, beyond the sports, beyond clubs, like, you got to understand that there just are going to be other commitments from these players. Yes, they want to represent their team on some of these leagues for the esports, but they're trying to balance everything else as well. And I understand how that can be difficult. So to you guys that still showed up, that still as many of you that there was to
Thank
those
you.
2-player teams, yeah, thank you for working hard through those matches. I think you guys all did an incredible job, though the run does end there. So congratulations so far to the teams Vaudeville that we've been able to cast to make it their way to the regional lands. But I have good news for you. We have one final set of matches to still get through for qualification. So a couple best of 5s still to come after our short break. Welcome right on back, everybody. It's me, Pirate J, with Vaudable, and we've been going through the grand final qualifier matches for this VESL Season 2 to see who makes it to the regional lands. And why don't we just jump right on in? Hey, enough of us, more of the game, Vaudable. We got Gaston and CEEC.
We got to tell them, don't start without us telling you next time, just so that they know. But they were raring to go, and hey, let's get into it. I mean, they've been waiting all night for this final matchup, and we got to see who is going to come out on top between these two teams. I haven't had a chance to look at either squads. Have you, Pyro?
Yes, I was able to see Gaston's squad of C-Forced Racer Rave and XP Wazd. Listen, if you want to hear who to look for on that squad, I'd say XP Wazd. Wazd impressed me on a few different occasions. It's just that if we've learned anything today, Vaudable, we don't know how two teams are going to match up against each other. There's such a broad spectrum of talent here in the state of North Carolina that CEEC, no matter how good XP Wazd is, might still just find the goal against them.
It always makes me think of a different conference when we say CEEC.
Yep.
I know you're thinking about it too, Pyro, but they are the ones that are on top right now, and we'll see how long they can go forward. Alone Again, Mock Dinosaur, and 5-Star Osiris. I like these team names, these player names, excuse me.
Yeah. Alone Again kind of doesn't bring positivity into my mind, but yeah, the other two are pretty good. Listen, you've got to have a well-balanced team, happy and sad, ground control and aerial acrobatics, and that's what I believe CEEC is bringing to the table today. That said, they need somebody on the defensive side and not the attack to get this ball out to the other side of the field, can become balanced again, and 5-Star Osiris almost there for the goal, but instead it goes right back to their end.
Oof. Beautiful looks across the board for both of these teams, looking for whatever they can to do necessary to get the victory on this matchup, because they know this is their last chance. This is a single elimination bracket. Even the regionals themselves are going to be single elimination, so they got to put the pedal to the metal and make sure that they put their game faces on to get the victory.
Game face on, goal scoring activated. C-Force has all the juice needed to make a play here, but it's just a miss, and he leaves it for his teammate Racer Rave instead. Alone Again with a look here. Shot's gonna be right under the crossbar, and it's a return of the Nom Nom Nomster goal explosion.
I don't know why we're seeing that goal explosion so much between these teams, but
it's never equipped for anyone.
They just like it a lot, I guess. I don't know. I respect it, but you know, is what it is between these two teams with the way that they are performing so far and doing everything necessary for XP Wazd to put this in. Is it XP WASD or XP Wazd? That's my question.
Whatever your heart desires, because we've gone back and forth on that before with my other co-caster, and I went for Wazd, but I'm down if you want to go WASD. I'm sticking with Wazd. I'm sticking with the shortcuts, and it's CEEC that are looking for the short sweep for a win here. We're only halfway through game number 1, though. Racer Rave in that Dominus might just find a shot here to split the defense. It's popped up high. It's just a little bit wide. He gets a pass out in front of the net. Who's there to score? Ooh. But XP Wazd.
Let's go. Who else but them getting all the experience necessary in scoring these goals? And Racer Rave, I was perfectly orchestrated by them to get past the defense off that corner and the side wall for them on the setup right past the halfway point for Gaston EC. All gas, no brakes so far in this game between these two teams.
Keep that pedal to the metal, Gaston, if you want to stick in this game, and make sure you've got your defensive line set. That was a solid save there. Mock Dinosaur kicks it off the sidewall. 5-Star Source. That's almost enough to get it past their opposition, but CEEC, with some of these double commits, may not have the layers of defense prepared for the next shot. Alone Again kicks it high for Racer Rave to strike down, but it's right in the hands of Alone Again. Not a touch there, though, for Alone again. 3 times is not the charm, as Mock Dinosaur instead takes it up high. It's just a battle for the midfield. I mean, nobody can get to the back third of their opponent's part of the field until Gaston maybe can take advantage of this possession here.
And hopefully they can take advantage of that possession themselves, because we need to see that pressure elevated for both of these teams. They know how close this match is and how one goal is going to be the difference between winning and losing the series potentially. If it keeps as close as this game one has been, counterattack goes the other direction, and CEEC does get the lead yet again.
And it's Alone again. This was really a team effort if it was drawn up on the whiteboard. If it was just a bunch of squiggly lines and a lot of markers, like a kindergartner toddler was drawing on the little sheet that they give you in the restaurant. You know, they give you some crayons, they give you a menu, there's chicken tenders and there's macaroni and there's a bunch of drawings on it. That said, it's enough for CEEC to take the lead. Can they draw their way to victory with just 45 seconds remaining?
Hopefully Gaston can bounce back, though, for fans of that school, because they've looked pretty solid for the most part, but XP Wazd has been the one who's been scoring all the goals for them. We need to see a little bit more movement from the rest of the team. Race Rave with some good setups. C4 Seed as well, doing some good work too. But 30 seconds remaining on the clock here. Seems to be all that is needed for CEEC to hold on to this lead, especially with it going the other direction.
18 seconds, Alone again behind this ball, gets kicked to make a huge back pass that seems troubling for CEC. The time to pounce is now if you're Gaston, but it's kicked behind them. Alone again with a long shot. Racer Rave has to make a save here, able to do so, but there's no time on the clock to make this the other way. Unless they have a moment of brilliance. It's an air dribble from XP Wazd all the way to the other side. Barely saved. C4's with a shot. That's not going to be on target. And though the opportunity was present, CEEC hold true to their lead.
Beautiful look from them. We do have CEEC, Charlotte Engineering and Teaching Early Colleges. What a name. Going against the Spartans, who you think against the brink of everything would be able to pull out some sort of a victory, but they have not been able to in this game just yet. We also have our other matchup getting started now too. Providence A versus Palisades A. And hey, perfect time to switch as we got a goal from Mailbox.
Okay, all right, 2A teams, only one makes it through to the regional lands. That's just the way that it's been marked up here in the bracket format. And Providence A, keen to be off to a hot start, even with someone named Arsenal 2.0 on the other side of the field.
Gotta be scared, because we saw Palisades B earlier too on this stream, and that team, they looked okay. That was the team that I believe also had 2 players on their squad. They weren't really able to do as much as they would have hoped to against one of the other squads as well. So Palisades A maybe will have a bit of a luckier day having the second version of Arsenal on their team. Log washed as well, and it's da boy CJ. You got to say it like that, though, Pyro, for it to really get the effect of the name.
It's that boy CJ.
Dat boy, that's right, that's right.
You got a T there. I'm all about it. I'm all about that boy CJ. He is that boy. But is he him like Simeon was? I mean, that's
a good question. Yeah.
Only time will tell, and we only have a minute into this game.
Well, I was going to say we almost have another goal into this game, too, until that was right on the goal line by a thread. Somehow didn't go in off the first shot. A weird bounce even looking right back at it, but still good follow through by Arsenal 2.0. Now tied 1-1 between both of these 8 teams who are looking to be the best team to move forward.
Yeah, both of these teams have a good chance at moving forward, but it might just be Dat Boy still that I'm looking at for Palisades A. Take it all the way upfield and score! Shot there from Arsenal 2.0. Saved well by Providence A. And a confident aerial from Mailbox. It's not just the touch off the sidewall, but it's the second as well. Every additional touch means so much more impact on your play, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that from Providence. Hey, Mailbox, avoiding even playing the ball and going for the demolition. It looks like there's a lot of creative thoughts coming out from Mailbox.
That's what you want to see from these players. Creativity, ingenuity, improvisation, anything of any sort for them to get this away. So I get a cat away from my monitors for a second. Excuse me.
Sounded like you were dining there on your gaming desk. That silverware just kind of chopped loose, but yeah, you know, the gameplay's getting a little loose here too, so I'm just gonna key back into it as Palisades A, they're creeping up on this second goal. Arsenal 2.0 close as that boy gonna be the third shot taker, but no, still Providence A stand tall to the measured attack of Palisades.
Love to see another close set between different teams vying for those final 5 spots that remain in the regionals in January. They know how close they are to tasting greatness, but they still have to put the pedal to the metal and put the goal into the back of the opponent's net as many times as they can. And only been one time so far for either side. They need at least one more to get this first game victory.
2 minutes to get that victory for either team. Logwash so close to the goal line there to make that happen. That boy CJ out over to Arsenal 2.0 who just can't get the right touch on the ball. Logwash now bumps out the defender, maybe an avenue to clear, but Mailbox has it all closed down to keep Providence A on a tying scoreline. But honestly, they need to get this ball on the other side of the field. How many saves can they really make? Because it's really been racking up the defensive stats with nothing left over on the attack. With a long clear, maybe they can turn this game around for them.
I think they can with the pressure that they are putting on so far, and we haven't had the best luck for Kachowkar so far, but maybe this is the time to shine for Palisades A, using that momentum and the new DLC to their expertise on offense. Great shot, but it hit the backboard, really almost the upper 90 there for a second too. Logwash looking for something, does get the demo though, just clears things out for a second. It's not enough to get it past the goalie, but this one is, and who else but Arsenal 2.0 to put in goal number 2.
1 goal, 2 goals, that might just be enough. Arsenal 2.0, clearly that finishing factor for the Palisades A team. And though Providence has looked solid throughout this matchup, especially Mailbox surprising me with some of their double tap sidewall plays and their just aggressiveness to go after demolitions, it hasn't been enough offensive caliber for this team. They have minimized and limited their opportunities just on possession to get chances at the net, and with them few and far coming, at least they take advantage of the moments that come. Mailbox, bar down, and in.
Beautiful from Mailbox, and that was the second. It seems we have 2 main scorers on either of these teams now, Pyro. Mailbox on Providence A, Arsenal 2.0 on Palisades A, and both of them putting the pedal to the metal as best they can, but we might have an overtime situation in our hands. Would this be the first overtime that we've had so far?
It will not. It would, but it might not happen.
Exactly.
Is the problem, because the scoring just won't stop in this final minute and a half. You mentioned 2 strikers on this field. Arsenal 2.0 with the 3.0 on the scoreboard for the Palisades A team. They had that lead earlier on that they gave up. 31 seconds to hold true to it now post kickoff. It's going to be Arsenal 2.0 behind the ball. Quickly read and batted away though by Providence A. As they work back to their other side of the field, they don't have a lot of time to get this shot viable. They need it now.
They do need it now or never. Less than 10 seconds to go for Providence A. It's in the right possession, and there it goes. Right positioning too. Someone other than Mailbox and Arsenal scores. This time it's Failed Sins who actually turned that into a success.
That's like at the end of the basketball game, they pass it to you for a 3-pointer with 2 seconds left, and you haven't had a shot the whole game. They just subbed you in, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. But clutch as ever. Failed Sins makes it happen. Iced out at the end of regulation time, but the job's not finished. They've tied it up for overtime. Or have they set themselves up for a final goal? The ball's dropping down. They could have a shot here. Oh, no! And it's crossbar down, inches away from winning.
Oh, that's gotta hurt for Providence A. That could have been their victory there, but this could be the victory too. The Orange Sea parts for a second and nobody's there, but neither is the shot on target. Everyone is missing, flopping around, and somehow nobody connecting where it needs to go for this ball. Eventually, things even out for a second, and we can catch our breath. 20 seconds into this OT, and it's already been mayhem.
My face has been palmed. There were so many panicky misses in that first 15 seconds. And I understand why. The stakes are high. Only one A team can make it to the regional, and everyone wants to have that last touch, but nobody seems to be getting it. It's too much of a tantrum here. Lightning McQueen cannot be the hero here, but Arsenal 2.0 sure can. Arsenal took the lead so many times for this team, and on one final occasion decides victory.
That is a very large roach on the topper of Lightning McQueen there, but the one that is on top this time is Palisades A. Fought tooth and nail for that victory. 11 shots, wow. But the saves on the side for Providence A just did not prove to be enough for them to get the victory. So let's switch on over to our other matchup that we were just tuning into. Definitely not as close as this one has been between Providence and Palisades, but hey, as I say that, actually it is pretty close. 2-1 scoreline so far. CEEC looked pretty good in game one. Gaston almost pulled it back, or Gaston, excuse me. I keep wanting to say Gaston. But we do see the Kachow goal explosion come through as a 5-star Osiris gets their first goal.
Hey, I went and saw Beauty and Beast in theaters, and then I went and saw it a second time as well. That's how good it was. So I hear you when I'm trying to say Gaston as well. But Gaston has to put the pedal to the metal here. They just got equalized on by CEEC, who are trying to regain themselves in this game. They've already got a game one victory and almost let the lead slip by again. I'm pretty sure Gaston had an open net there, but they just fell out of communication. That one's going to be a tough look, and Gaston looking to get a chance like that back. But it will get actually a chance here. 5-star is able to get there for the 50-50. Solid working alone again towards the net. XP West! No! Did the egg inside the Octane just look down because they dropped their drink while they were driving around or something? I don't know, but XP Waz, the ball even closer. They might just have the lead stretch even further for CEEC if they let go opportunities like that again. Surprisingly, no one to take that shot though for CEEC. Tons of work being done by the leading attacker, but no one really to follow up on it. So 2 minutes in this game, and if nobody gets their footing in this game, then we'll end the score at 3-2. But 5-star Saurus takes it across the field, gets a demolition alone again. A hard touch around the corner, but XP Waz saw that demo from their teammate, says, hold on, I need to get to this ball, make sure we don't get scored on here.
I think Gaston, they have plenty of chances. They have the skill and everything necessary to pull off this potential victory, but a team bump, not exactly what you want to see. XP Waz trying to do everything themselves, and we've seen that not work out for so many of these teams out here in these qualifying matchups. So seeing Gaston ECA send one player up and not really work together on offense is not the look you want to see from them in game two, down by a goal, and potentially, if they lose this one, having to pull off a reverse sweep.
That's going to be an issue, and if they want to get out of that, they've got to score a goal. C-Force giving themselves a chance at that. Everybody from CEEC is bunched up together. That's the time to punish them. That's the time to ride right through them, cause calamity, and take advantage of the chaos. It's in front of the net. This is the time to score. C-Force is just late to the ball. It brings it around to Racer Rave, has to contain it to the corner, has enough boost to clear this out as well, and maybe a second touch, but alone again, beating them to it. XP Waz has to make a quick maneuver to get this ball cleared, but it's in front of Gaston's net. If it's scored by CEEC, this game two should be over. So a back pass out to Alone again as they try to follow through the ball, but actually peel off the play, are making sure their defense is set instead to not allow Gaston to get an advantage on a counter.
less than 30 seconds, though, for Gaston to try and get that advantage on these counterattacks. But I am liking the positioning from 5-star Osiris defensively, waiting patiently. But I talked about that with some of the other teams. They are moving actively around, and you can see them go on offense to try and get a goal there, too. But denied that one actually from going in the other net. They don't need the extra goal. They just need this time to tick down and go away from their side. Less than a second to go. Still popped up for a mere moment. Dangerous. Alone again. Why are you still hitting that in the air? Just hit it down to the ground. You're giving more opportunities to your opponent somehow, as it is on the corner, and it does eventually touch down. CEEC A, 1 game away from making it to the regionals.
I pray for the coaches of these teams.
Yeah.
I gotta say, because that XP Waz, that was a defensive play for the third goal, CEC. Then he's not going to want to watch back and hear from their coach. And then alone again, I agree. That ball game's over when you put that to the ground. Maybe they're an OG player of Rocket League, and they say, no, rule 1 is keeping the ball in the air. Who really knows here? All we can know for sure and tell you, certainly, is that CEEC are in the lead of this grand final qualifier for VESL Season 2. 2-0 in the series. One more win will get them to that land. However, we've got another match to get to. Let's keep the action rolling as we drop back into game number 2 of Providence and Palisades. And we see Logwashed still with that Lightning McQueen car and a abnormally large cockroach as their topper.
Well, Palisades A with that 1-goal lead. I mean, this is what you want to see from the team who got the victory just by the skin of their teeth in the last game in overtime. It took them some time to get that last goal because they had the lead for a while. And, you know, doing what they can here, Providence A. Everything is in their court to try and bounce back. 3:20 on the clock now. So I'm trying to keep the straight face. Production's making me laugh, but nonetheless, it's been a great time casting with you so far, Pyro.
I've enjoyed myself as well, Vaudable. I mean, 3 minutes left in this game now, and we got to see if Palisades A can keep their lead or not. That's a big question here. I mean, we didn't see exactly how they got their lead to start, but we are able to see how they're able to hold on to it. And it's with good quality back and forth Rocket League here. Arsenal 2.0, certainly the player to watch if they're going to get the goal here. It goes right off the crossbar. It comes that close, but it's just not enough. It's got to be a little extra. There has to be that follow through on the shot, but that time around it wasn't there. Chance for Mailbox is going to go wide, and still Providence A cannot equalize.
So close yet so far for Providence A to do what is necessary for them to tie things up and potentially get a victory, but it's on the counterattack the other direction, and it's not in really the best spot for them to go for these challenges. They have all the boost in the world to work with, except for Mailbox, who's only on 1. So got to be careful on that play, and as I say that, Mailbox was the one having to go for the save and couldn't even use that 1 boost left to get it away.
I think we put Mailbox under too much pressure here at the start of the series. We were calling them out to be the big goal puncher, you know, the one to deliver the final blow to the victims of Palisades A and be able to rise above the opposition. But instead, it's been them faltering on the defensive line and not being able to make those important plays that are necessary on the defense. We're not calling them out because most of the plays from Mailbox have been exquisite, but plays like that where they're just missing the mark are clearly not enough for Providence A, and maybe we look to Failed Sins or Debon Air to be that hero that saves the day for them.
Hopefully one of them can step up to the plate. Failed Sins, we've seen them get a goal before. They got the last one to tie things up for Providence A in the previous game where Mailbox was the one who was scoring the majority of those ones, so there is potential there, but time ticking down. Palisades A still holding on to this strong lead. 2 goals where we've seen a lot stronger leads, but not in as close of games as we have here. Mailbox with a shot, and it goes off the crossbar in an own goal situation. No, you should have left it for your teammate to scoop it out, but they were just ready to get reset for the next kickoff, I feel like.
Maybe at that point. I mean, there's kind of that freeze frame moment when a play like that happens where most of Rocket League is very smooth. I mean, you're in your flow state, you're working through the rotation, and you know what play's coming next, you know what role to play. But in that situation, everything freezes. It's fight or flight or just stare. And sometimes you stare. Sometimes you're a deer in the headlights and you don't know what to do with the car coming at you, figuratively and literally. So Providence A able to be that car that runs right through the ball and gets themselves a goal. Still more work to do as an equalizer is necessary.
We need just one more from Providence A. Can they do it in less than a minute to go, or are they going to be facing down the barrel of a full reverse sweep needing to be activated? We've seen one so far, so it is possible, but that was from one of the Edgecomb teams that are out there that lost that series. Unfortunately for them, Newbern High Team B got that victory at the end of the day. Less than 20 seconds to go now, though. Time ticking down, and it's in the wrong side of the field to try and get this counterattack as a shot almost comes out from Logwashed. Kachowkar did get one goal, but not much after that was needed because they still have the one goal lead themselves. One final shot for Failed Sins gets denied by the defense yet again. Mailbox can't get it either. And there goes the chances of Providence A to come back, especially with that final goal from Logwash.
Well, you know what? You called out Logwash. You said they only got one goal, and they said, oh yeah, take a look at this. 1 and 0 seconds to walk away with, and yet another win as well for Palisades A to steer on through and race away with this series. 2 wins and 1 more to go for them to qualify for that regional LAN. But as we keep moving through these matches, we've got to take a look at how this other matchup could conclude. And I say could because while CEEC are on match point, Gaston have gone toe-to-toe with their opposition and are keen to not make this a 3-game affair.
They have been so close, yet so far for Gaston to get a game win. And the biggest difference I'd say here is the synergy of the CEEC players. Everyone firing on all cylinders, doing all that is necessary to get this potential victory for their team. As Gaston, they have looked really good for the most part, but a lot of it has just been XP was doing the majority of the work for their team. So need to see everyone getting involved on that team if the Spartans want to come back.
Involvement in a coordinated approach is indeed what's necessary here for CEEC. I couldn't say that more than enough, as late in game 2, I remember 5-star Saurus moving right on through for the attack and about nobody else following up for the shot. They've got to be on the same page, on the same script for this game number 3 if they want to get the lead. But a good sign for them so far as the game's still tied. I almost bite my tongue as that shot does come close there for CEC.
Ooh, another one.
They've got to work it on the defense. The ball's off the post. XP wazzed up for that shot, but 5-star. Beautiful save to get right in front of that. The back and forth has accelerated. Shots are firing right on target, and now it's up to the defense to make important stops.
Oh no!
Just like XP Waz had to, but the shot, luckily for them, will be right off the mark.
Right off the mark yet again for their team to try and put that goal through. Still tied 0-0, 2:40 on the clock as we're at the halfway point here. Gaston ECA, they still need that full reverse sweep. They still need a goal here as well, but they still have not been able to find it somehow.
Somehow, some way. Where is that next goal? Where will it come to play? Gaston, a lead could really elevate the standard and the expectations for this team. It could change the entire narrative for them to swing a tidal wave size momentum in their favor and make CEC instead work for their win from behind. They've got to get this goal to go, though. It's XP Waz. Maybe it's that player right there to make it happen. Their shot almost registered as a goal there, as Mech barely gets a save away from their own net. 5-star around the corner, able to take this ball up high. Flip reset maybe available. Pinch play there. But C-Force had the avenue cut off. Caution tape all along that route of the road. Racer Rave there to the corner. Still quarter tank boost to get to that ball and manages to do so. but not a great position right now for Gaston to be in, as a shot could come at any time for CEC, but they stall their attack. The shot just never comes. The defense always there.
We are just holding our breath at this point in time, waiting for somebody to score a goal. I don't know how it's gone this long yet again without a single goal going through for either of these teams. You know, CEEC, they don't really need it just yet because they got a 2-game buffer, but Gaston ECA, they are waiting with bated breath for an opportunity. XP Waz has something here for setup. Rave still can't get it through either, and it's just not working out in their favor somehow. They save it on the goal line there for C4, and I don't know how they kept that one out.
I don't know how either. I mean, how is there someone there ready for a shot like that? I don't know, but I will credit Gaston because on and on again, they have that third person ready on the defensive line. I mean, you see how deep C-Force is playing on that maneuver right there. Need to make the defensive stop, though, and they can't do it. 5-star Asaurus roars and gets the lead for CECC. CEEC, maybe the winning goal for them.
Somehow able to get that one goal that is necessary every single game in this best of 5. 2 games in a row. Now the third yet again for CEEC, and it's crazy to see how it's going for them.
15 seconds, Gaston, what do you got? Final fuel left in the tank to exhaust here on this play. XP Waz way up on the sidewall. Pass out to Racer Rave. Oh, C-Force was trying to get in the equation as well, but it was too many cooks in the kitchen. C-Force the last one available, and there you have it. CEEC's A-Team move on to the regional land of VESL Season 2.
What a win from them. Nail biter after nail biter after nail biter. One goal is all it took at the end of the day for the victory, and really just goes to show how close these two teams were. Even though it was a 3-0 sweep, I don't know how it was a 3-0 sweep because of how close it was, but there just wasn't enough for Gaston ECA to do anything about it.
There wasn't enough. But how close was it, though, at the same time? Because Gaston, I mean, again and again, off pinch plays, off of banger shots, they somehow had a defender in position to block them away. I'm surprised they only come away with 2 saves in that game. But that story is told. Gaston, congratulations to your A-Team for making it so far, but unfortunately coming just short. CEEC, good luck in your regional land coming up. But we're gonna move right along to our final match of the day. We still gotta call out anyone else who wins, and while this is between Palisades A and Providence A, I did want to mention to everybody we have 2 more teams qualifying to the regional land based on sweeps that have occurred. That's going to be Esports Legends A-Team and Sun Valley's A-Team. So congratulations to them, and congratulations are in order for one more team.
Only a few spots remain, and right now Palisades A are making a good effort for them to be the next team to make it into the regionals in January, especially with Logwash, who seems to have been having a resurgence of sorts on offense for their team. It was Arsenal 2.0 getting every single goal for this team before. Now Logwash has been involved with like 75% at least in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, two of the 3 goals in the last game.
That's gotta hurt.
We just saw that goal, but you already said it. Arsenal 2.0, a ton of work put in throughout the series, and to be credited with a kickoff goal there is going to be very fortunate for the Palisades.
Ooh, so many chances for Palisades to strengthen their lead in the other games, but this is the strongest we have seen from them so far, and they almost had another one popped in from Logwash with that great pressure that we are seeing from them.
Let's see how that pressure could amount to more chances here. We're looking at Logwash. We're looking at Arsenal 2.0. They've certainly been the playmakers for Palisades, but out of this banger shot from Providence almost reaches the net. And this one's so close as well. It is cross-court clearing shots from either team that are just missing their mark. Had they been between the uprights, certainly would be chances for goals. Failed sins. A very solid flick play that's still saved by the Palisades.
I don't know how these goals keep getting saved left and right by Palisades, but they are probably glad to have that happen so many times for them. to get this away and back into the other net. Arsenal with 2 goals, Logwash with a couple as well, and they are on top of the world as time is ticking down for Providence A to get a single one on the board.
It's, you know what I always say, even in my ranked matches, it's not impossible because the halfway mark of the game hasn't quite gotten there yet. If the other team scored 4 goals in half a game, so can we, is what I always say. So whether that's probable or not, I want to see Providence come out there with that energy. I want them to look like the team that can still win this game. I don't care if it's an Octane, a Lightning McQueen, or a Merc behind these players of the game. I still want to see that gusto on the field.
Hopefully we do see more from these players, especially in their potential last showcase of Rocket League skill in this tournament and in these qualifiers for Providence A. They haven't gotten a goal here. We want to at least go out swinging if they do go out in these last 2 minutes of play.
At that 2-minute mark, gets at the half-court line. Dat boy CJ turns it out to Arsenal 2.0. Logwash in succession for that shot. Will be just a bit high and pinched away as well by Failed Sins. Long clear again. This is your chance here for Providence, and Failed Sins just misses their mark. I mean, they've hit great flicks on target when the defense was there, but unfortunately when it was absent, they didn't have the accuracy that was so desperately needed.
What was that other player named before, like Open Net Hater or something like that? I mean, I guess that's exactly what that was there. Yeah, open nets are not fun because they are even harder to score on when the pressure is that high, and now it's 5-0. That was the chance for Providence A to get the goal. We've seen a couple of chances like that, but unfortunately did not work out.
I mean, that's the narrative here. That's the story for Providence A, is that they've gotten so far in these qualifiers. They got as far as you could here in the quals before getting knocked out here. The tale is told for the Palisades squad, the A team looking to move on here for the regional lands, and at this point the final minute is going to be a formality for them. I'm excited to see what this team looks like against maybe some stronger foes, Vaudable, because while Arsenal 2.0 has been a mainstay of this team and a strong force, Logwash has come up really big in these last couple of games, and I want to see if that role comes to even more prominence.
We'll have to see. Palisades A looking for maybe a final opportunity, but Providence A finally Failed Sins, hits the mark. So many shots coming from this player, and at least they can go home saying that they were a winner in sorts, getting that goal eventually on the counterattacks after all the pressure from Palisades A, but a little bit too late for them.
And there we go. That's the first time that I see a Lightning McQueen car smiling while they're actually winning. So it makes sense there on the director cam or auto cam or whatever have you. It is good here. And as well, you know, Arsenal 2.0, we got Logwash, and we got Dat Boy as well, who's going to be moving on. It's sad to see some of these players that are not, though, because Failed Sins has made some wonderful plays. And Mailbox, while they couldn't complete this play, I've seen a lot of great plays from them as well. That's just how it goes, though, Vaudable. Some teams can't make it.
Some teams can't make it, but they've made it as far as they could, farther than a lot of teams that are out there. Each step of the way, 24 teams were eliminated from the 96 that we started with, which is an insane total to even think about, but only a few could make it from then on out into the regionals. But this is the end of the day for us, the end of the play for these players, and the end of the stream for the most part after we look at these stats, because Palisades A, the last team on our stream, that is going to be the ones taking the victory here. But another goal for Failed Sins, and a hat trick to go home with. Might as well do the best that you can like that.
Might as well go out on a bang. Yeah, the demolition. Yeah, the goal for Failed Sins. And that's all that I had asked for at the start, was for the A team of Providence. Give it your all to the final breath, and that's what they did. Their final schmeckle of boost was used for good as they get a third goal there. But Palisades A team, you guys are moving on to the regional land. Congratulations to you guys, and congratulations as well to our A team of Green Hope. We just got word that that team moving on as well to the regional land. So many congratulations here, Audible,
All
to
the
give
congrats.
off of so many deserving and well-earned teams. They went through the gauntlet this entire week of the qualifier run here for the VESL Season 2. And boy, have we shaped a great narrative, a great story for these teams to compete on land.
And a great time for all the teams who have made their way. We still have 4 teams that will be playing some of their matches a little bit later on just based on scheduling. But the teams that we have, Palisades made it through there. We quickly run through all of them. East Forsyth Team A, Wake Young Leadership Team A and B, Green Hope, Esports Legends, A, Agri Insight, ECA, Noble Academy, Edgecomb Early College High, Havelock High Team A, New Bern High Team B, Rocky River High School Team A, Gaston EC Team A, which we just saw recently, Garinger High School Team A, JT Williams, Olympic High School Team A, Philip O'Berry Team A, Arrey Kell Team A, Sun Valley High School, and Monroe High. Try saying all those names 10 times fast. But that is a lot of schools and a lot of talent that we will be seeing in those regionals in January.
And to think that that is only, a quarter, if not less, than the teams that competed in this tournament. That's surely something else. Thank you to all the competitors here for the VESL Season 2. Thank you to everybody and all the casters that worked so hard alongside myself and Vaudable. We've had Chimako, Hail Monkey Man. We've had Bearlight Cast. So many incredible people of talent in the casters booth, but also some wonderful producers on this GH stream. We've had Blasky, Pizza Time on the other one, Reed the Sloth putting in work today and yesterday, and Vaudable. I just want to say thank you for joining me by my side for today's action of the grand final qualifiers. Vaudable, you got anything else for these teams, for these players, either those that had gotten knocked out or moved on, anyone that competed?
Thanks for playing. See you next time.
We will see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we can't wait till those January lands for the regional lands. We'll see you next time.